The walk seemed pretty interesting.
I don't know nothing.
Hey, well, goes in Vegas, stays in Vegas. What up, Big Les? What up, LES? What up, Teddy?
That's LES. That's LES, a DJ.
Oh no, I just call him that because that was his name like when we grew up.
Oh.
What up, DJ? DJ Joey. I can't say that. They didn't roll off the tongue right. Yeah, I'm gonna start soon. I'm just kind of waiting right now, but just on standby. Just one more music break. What up, Renard? What's going on, man? It don't feel like a Saturday night, but I'm starting to get the vibe and energy now. Mind you, I'm only functional for 4 hours of sleep. What up, Adrian? What's going on, Kimoin? I'm hoping you're enjoying your trip to New York. You should have came to New York City instead of taking yourself to the boondocks up there. I'm chilling, man. I'm a little hype, but I don't know why. What up, Keyshawn? I can't complain, Renard. Just chilling. So tell me what you fellas think about this hot girl summer. I'm sure y'all seen some of the memes in the posting. What up, Patrick? Patrick Melton in the house.
We'll go live after this.
Oh snap! Here's an old face I haven't seen in a while. What up, Gerald? You know who you is? My nigga Hayes up in the house. What up, my fellow Taurus brother? Yo, for those of you who's on my page right now, in case the signal is kind of bad here, thank you, man. I appreciate that, Bernard. You can go to Andy Lee. Like I said, I don't mind you guys watching from my page, but you know what I'm saying? Andy Lee, we got all the things. You got to hear the music and, the radio segment and how, things go down. I could use a good L right now, I'll tell you that.
Snoop Dogg smokes on this show.
Oh, nah. No, I said, wait. Nah, I could tell he's the type to do that, though. Not that it's a bad thing, but... But I don't mind getting lit before my show or something like that. Now, that's a different story.
Yeah, that's the elder story right there on the camera.
I think there was one time I went live and I was like doing it, but I forgot that I had this in my hands.
Have the speech ready?
Yep. Oh no, I don't have it. Hold on.
Have a song? We got 49 seconds. Try to read it smoothly. You could. Don't get nervous.
All right. Oh, Sam, what up? What up, my Aquarius, my little twin Riolano? I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, Rel? I'm about to get this show started. Rock boys in the building.
DNAradio.net presents the BU Show with your host, Rockman.
That's Warbucks, know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, I know Warbucks. I know my brother's voice. What up, Kenny?
Ready?
Yep. What's going on? This is DNAradio.net presents BU, and this is your host, Rockman. BU is a live, interactive radio program for our brothers and sisters within our same gender loving community or the LGBT gay community. Be you and always be true to thyself. To be true to yourself takes courage. It requires you to be introspective, sincere, open-minded, and fair. It does not mean that you are inconsiderate or disrespectful of others. It means that you will not let others define you or make decisions for you that you should make yourself. BU on DNAradio.net is a radio program to help support and uplift our brothers and sisters within our same gender loving community and or the download communities. We are human beings who live a life, not a so-called lifestyle. BU is not a radio program that gives away any of our same gender loving or DL intimate secrets within our community or anything of that nature. So please understand and bear in mind that we at BU are not trying to be a so-called superhead tell-all program. Furthermore, BU is not a gossip type program such as TMZ, Page Six, or Wendy Williams, etc. We, the BU and BUNation.net staff, team, and family come with love and support. And again, I'm your host, Rockman. All right, what's going on? What up, Freddie? What up? Okay, we got Quataba. All right, what's going on, fellas? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Right now, I think I reached the point where I exhausted, talking about relationships and sex and all that other things. I'm sure you're pretty more into, aligned with, the actual issues that exist within our communities. What can we give and what can we do as same gender loving or, LGBTQ or download? What can we do to, shed light to some of the issues that go on within, our community of men dealing with men or women dealing with women. It's a lot more intricate, but again, this one topic I'm going to talk about, several things. Today I'm going to talk about, I have a whole bunch of things right now on my agenda. What up, C Marley? So I'm going to pretty much cover up one night stands, no strings attached, open relationships, friends with benefits, threesomes, whether you're single or in a relationship. Of course, the difference between talking to someone and dating, or commitment, however you want to look at it. Then we got about timing. I'm going to try to, wrap this up in a neat, nifty little package. How about that? But okay, let's see. Much love and respect, my man. Keep doing what you love. Yo, I'm gonna do my best, man. Like I said, I would like to be that voice to try to help for people who don't really get a chance to really say things or put out there what actually really defines you and how you feel you really fit on the spectrum, because we all fall on the spectrum, and some are more extreme than others. But regardless, we got to learn to try to understand and appreciate other people's walks in life, even if that's not a choice you would choose for yourself. You should still want to respect the next man or woman for the choices that they choose, because you don't know what life is like for the next man or woman and what they could do to make it better for themselves. Right now, I feel like we live in a dangerous time where people are selfish. They're prideful. They're egotistical. They're just about themselves. They're self-absorbed. It's like they're the center of the universe. Everything revolves around them. And to some degree, it's true for all of us, but not on extreme cases where other people suffer or get hurt in the process by that. And just like, bear in mind, like they said, hurt people. So do we really want to keep this cycle of hatred or misunderstandings going along? Just not even just as humanity, but again within our community. I feel like our community is supposed to set us free, set us different, that we accept things, that are different, that people tend to not understand. No different than we got racism and prejudice and all these other things, all these other political terms that like, yo, if you don't fit into this, you tend to fall by the wayside because it's a societal standard that is frowned upon. What up, Lawazi? But yeah, I'm definitely going to continue to, be that voice, that inspiration to kind of, keep that love and hope alive because that's what I believe in. And that's, even if I don't see it happening and I don't get the, you know, indulge in that type of energy, at least I could be that for myself. You know what I'm saying? And for those who may find comfort in that and find solace, then I'll definitely be that. I'll definitely be that. Hopefully, you can find your own way and you can do the same thing and spread the message, spread the word, the energy. Yeah, and I'm gonna get to that. My next topics after today's topic is definitely gonna be about some of the judgmental things and the misunderstandings about not being able to understand and the fact that we don't communicate, and it's sad because we can learn so much to bring to the table to make this world a better place. All right. To our Facebook viewers, we are also live on the radio at DNAradio.net and on Andy Lee DNA Facebook page. So if you're tuning in on my page and you're having a hard time, it's better to go to Andy Lee, who's also my friend. You can look at my friends list and see Andy Lee on DNAradio.net. And I'm broadcasting off of there as well. We have for YouTube viewers and also Instagram. We're not on Instagram tonight, but normally we are. But for now, I think we're just on Facebook and YouTube. And then, of course, you can tune in live on the radio at DNAradio.net. Anyway, what up, Royce? Royce Harmon, Sil the Doobie. Okay, Anthony Hill. Oh, wow. Y'all showing a lot of love. So y'all trying to show off now and make me feel like, yo, now you're making it feel like a Saturday night for me. Right now, I mean, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be at the crib playing some PS4, watching some anime, or smoking. I mean, I wouldn't mind having some buddies to chill with like that. And because I miss my friend, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna take this one time. I think I said it around the time for his year of passing. Me and this dude, we used to have these long drawn out conversations like he knew me. And you can't replace that kind of history with somebody. I mean, unless you spend that type of time with like friends or family, stuff like that. But in this day and age, to have a friend like that, he reminded me of what it's really like to have a friend besides my childhood friends or the people who knew me growing up.
What happened to him?
He's not here no more.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, again, let's get this party started. So, my first thing is about one night stands, no strings attached. So, I want to hear some of your comments and feedback. What are your definitions of a one night stand with no strings attached? What is it like to have sex with no strings attached? What are your criteria? What are your standards? So, let me hear some standards. Again, we're here live. You can call us at 917-727-8020. Again, that number is 917-727-8020. Again, this is a dialogue, not a monologue. So please let us hear your comments and your concerns about how you feel. Or you can type them in and I'll see them. Either I'll type back or I'll verbally say it since I'm talking on the mic and you gave my voice. All right. What's going on, Anthony? All right, Twin says, okay, I got that. All right, Kenny. Thank you, man. Thank you for the love, man. Thank you. What up, Love Kings? Comment. These are people right now that's in the Andy Lee page because I see them on as well. They're not on my page like you guys. But again, man, tell me what some of your thoughts is. What's your thoughts? Anybody? One night stand, no strings attached. If I don't get nothing like that, I'll move on to the next one. The next on the agenda we got open relationships. What is your idea of an open relationship? Is there any rules? What up, Daniel Soto? Dennis Charles, welcome. Thank you for viewing. All right. Then we got timing. I got something special I want to talk about when it comes to timing. But what else? What about threesomes? What's the difference between threesomes when you're single versus if you're in a relationship and you're committed with somebody? Okay, Anthony, I used to like it. All right, Anthony says, I used to like it, but now that I'm older, I think I am phased out of it. Yeah, for some of us, it does tend to be a phase. And I don't think it's a wrong phase, but at a certain time, like you said, like especially when it comes to men, we got to put old things down. Think about toys. Like I don't play with action figures. The most I might do with an action figure is collect them because they could be something I wouldn't mind pass them down to the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Something that you could preserve that a generation could actually enjoy the things that you've enjoyed. All right. Twin says no strings attached. It's cool because it's wham bam. Thank you, man. All right, Twin. You can elaborate on that. Like, what is wham bam? You know, because that might be a different. No, I won't say a different term, but it might be a different definition depending on who's the one utilizing the term. For me, a wham bam is basically a touch and a thrill. Like I could get a wham bam without even coming out of my clothes or even putting much effort into it. To me, that's my definition of no strings. So my point is, if you plan on having no strings of sex attached to me, it's going to be extremely limited. And I'm only saying it like this. Not that I'm trying to make it about me, but I'm utilizing my examples. I can only talk and answer for myself. Um, what up, fitness? That's not what I'm going to call it 'cause I can't understand that BBS fitness. All right, BBS fitness. Sonoko. What up, my man? Um, I feel like if I'm single and I have sex, I feel like sex for me is going to be very limited because I'm not creative. I'm not my best element. I'm not inspired to want to bring my best or, like I said, put an effort for something that is temporary. If it's a temporary and a temporary fix, then I need to think and move with a temporary mindset, if you know what I mean. And to me, I feel like I put the emphasis on it being that way because why? I'm going to bring my A game for something I can actually keep, and I feel like it can be for me on a day-to-day basis. And at one point, love used to be my goal, but I changed that. It changed to me, a relationship signifies consistent sex, consistency with somebody who I am attracted to, somebody who I know would put the time in and who could be my equal. That I'm willing to try my best to wow you on such a level that you wouldn't want and need from nobody else. Like I don't understand how most people don't think of it like that. Like for me, this is why I say the top bottom thing don't work for me because I'm so far removed from that spectrum. I'm not against it. It just doesn't work for me. All right, Anthony says, I think open relationships tend to turn into a mess. I know friends that did it and they started competing with each other and jealous started. Oh, yes, jealousy is definitely an issue when it comes to open relationships or one night stands or no strings attached sex sometimes. But basically, I would say more so on open relationships. Yes, that could be. And I'm going to, get into full details about that. But to me, a open relationship, what I have it in my notes. An open relationship, or basically you could have threesomes in your relationship. To me, is basically organized cheating or chaperoning, if you ask me. Now, mind you, I got that term from somebody who I heard along my travels of organized cheating. Because here's my point: open relationship for me, and I'm talking about me, it's pointless. Like, why not be single? To me is like that's just my way of saying like, oh, I'm gonna, I want you, but I can't deal with you when the time is off. So I want to take you off the market so that when I feel like I am ready, I can have access to you. But in the meanwhile, you can't have access to anybody else. And to me, that's why, but again, it may work for some people, and I'm not knocking it for those who it does work. Yeah, I just won't be on the receiving end of that. All right, Twin says open relationships. I've tried, as you know, but it has to work on both ends, not just one person. And tolerating isn't just an open relationship. Totally agree. Totally agree. You shouldn't want to tolerate, things like that. And I feel like as human beings, period, sexual orientation aside, as human beings, period. What up, Victor? Victor Harris. Um, Relationships could be a touchy thing for certain people. Some people take it more serious than necessary. Some people take it, I guess you could say the normal way that the average person would take it. Then you got people who just totally just break all the rules everywhere they go. Mind you, there's got to be some kind of protocol or guidelines that guide us as human beings as to what it is. Think about it: your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit. All that comes into play that is being on display. You're bringing the best parts of you and what you could represent as a person. Remember, there's a difference between you and your body. You know, this right here, what you see is my body. It's the vessel that God gave me that I was born with. It's basically my avatar that houses my spirit, my soul, so that I can move about and live in the world of, the living, flesh and blood, Um, is unique, and I feel like we should preserve and learn how to protect it. Mind you, I'm not going to go on no spiritual binge, yeah, like we're human beings. It's natural. No, I got one right here. Thank you. We're human beings that we got feelings, we got thought process, and it's just sad that most people are willing to throw it away for the sole purpose of what they may want, but then they expect others of who they may find an interest in for whatever reason and whatever you may have. Because again, we're human beings. We're God creatures that God blessed us with having unique abilities to do things that the next man or woman may never be able to be, and vice versa. But it goes to show that we all want things that we can't have when it comes to people. But the best way I learned how to utilize and harness that better, it's simple. Why not be that yourself? Be as much as you can be that you can be, and let God deal with the worst. The rest of it. Basically, it goes back to our choices. We got free will to choose what we want to choose in life and who we want to deal with. Why can't we take the time to spend time away for something that's actually right for you, what you're naturally driven by? But again, with preferences, you might as well say like, hey, I don't like you, or just or take things personal. But I don't take things personal. Like, so we all have our preference. Even though I know I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I say that in the heterosexual sense of even with women. What gave me that extra push, because it existed naturally in me, was because I couldn't get the girl that I wanted. I'm not saying girl, I'm saying any girl that I would go that I find interesting. I find I had to work harder than necessary. And I feel like I shouldn't have to. Again, if my end game was sex and my goal was sex, then yeah, make me work for it. Make any man work for it. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. All right. Let's see. All right. Rel says a one night stand is literally a sexual exchange of mutual curious energy between two people. No commitment, no love, no expectations. Just straight up fucking. Uh, SEE, sexual energy exchange. C. I like that acronym. Um, I was thinking about just SEX is an acronym for sexual energy exchange, except for an exchange. Of course, you need E to spell exchange, but this way, the way I saw it, somebody creatively just the X, and they put change at the end of it, because sex is SEX. But I definitely feel where you're coming from, Rel. Okay, Anthony says threesomes tend to end up very messy. Some of my friends ended up in full blown fights. I can't even begin to tell you of my stories, my travesties about threesomes in my younger years. And mind you, I'm saying younger years as if I'm like 10 or 12 or 14. Nah, I'm in my early 20s, basically when I started my career 19 years ago. Um, yeah, my experiences with threesomes were, I mean, they were fun at the time when I didn't know any better. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't experienced or seasoned or trained, to be awoken to know what I wanted and who I was, and where my standards need to be for what I feel works for me. But I know I had fun. It was experience, like I said, but it wasn't the fun that most people, talk it up to be. To me, it was definitely a big learning experience. In fact, that's how I actually got my first relationship. It was a threesome, and I wasn't ready for one, but I tried it anyway because I needed experience to know what it's like dealing in this lifestyle when it comes to dealing with men. Long story short, I knew he wasn't right for me, but I couldn't. At that point, I was kind of vulnerable. I didn't want to write somebody off, because I said to myself, maybe the reason why I don't have the kind of girl in my life that I wanted was because, maybe I was kind of dismissive, or I was superficial. I mean, I was young. I didn't know. I was experienced. It took me some time to grow into myself. But I liked his friend more than I liked him. I would have rather his friend, try to talk to me and say, yo, like, I'm digging you, what I'm saying? I like your vibes, da 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 da. And mind you, but when I got to know them both, because obviously, I spent time with one person, being committed, and it was easy to get over his friend, because when I saw what kind of person his friend was, I mean, the personality outside of the sex, it just was like, I couldn't do any of them. His friend was a little bit more, how to say, cutthroat, but not in a good way. He was in, I'm trying not to use terms because I don't talk that way, but basically it was just a bad scenario. But again, I try to turn my negatives into positive. It was an experience and it taught me things. It may not have been the lesson I wanted to know, but it was something I needed to know. And again, for me, a threesome is I can't in this day and age, I couldn't partake in one because I would find one person more attractive than the other. I think I kind of said this last week in my show. And I'm not a selfish person when it comes to sex. If I'm into somebody, I'm into you. Trust me, I'm going to do something to blow your socks off because I want to be the only choice. And this is before the commitment, love, the whole, what I say, the whole, damn, I had the word too. But basically, the total package, I'm only willing to offer the total package of what I could do mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and sexually for a person who I feel is my equal, who takes me to that limit. What did Genuine say? I'm looking for a partner that knows how to ride without even falling off. Got to be compatible and take me to my limit. All right. Twin says threesomes. All parties need to know all details, and nobody should ever felt left out. No, I totally agree. One of my other experiences of threesomes where I guess my better judgment, I was with two bottoms, and basically I was their toy, and I didn't feel comfortable like that. I mean, because I didn't really have a say, so they just had fun, and I just let them do what they wanted to do, like how they wanted to. And I was thinking about something, a comment somebody said, and I actually liked it, and I think of it in a good way, in the most positive way possible. Of what up, Calvin? Mr. Green is in the building. um, some I want to say some, but basically, I guess he was an accolade for bottoms, and I think because of my mindset and the way I think about, and of course me being bisexual and being a demisexual and a sapiosexual, most people who have a sexual fantasy or ideas or visions about me unfortunately can't utilize or realize the full potential of what I'm willing to be for somebody because that particular individual wouldn't excite me the way they would hope to be so that I would actually want to partake and be there. Because there's times I would say with certain episodes I've had that certain episodes I had that made it so that mentally I wasn't there. Like physically I was, I feel like because I was tricked into it. And once I'm into it, I mean, when I was young, I didn't know how to say, you know what, this isn't for me and just kind of walk away. Now I can kind of do it, but I do it in the sense of not because I'm mean or I'm fucked up. I just do it in the sense of I'd rather be truthful and honest about my feelings and how I feel about certain things so that you could get over it and maybe spend time pursuing something that actually would work for you. And I'd rather take the hatred or the disrespect or the words or being derogatory. I'd rather take that and live my truth rather than be scum and lie and pretend to be interested or liking something that I really don't. And again, it's hard to try to help others understand about your preferences and stuff like that. Like I said, naturally, I only go for what I'm driven by naturally. And mind you, I heard a lot of things, over the years, go with the flow or try something. You can't knock something before you try it. But what if naturally that doesn't work for you? I mean, because think about it. I'm a visualizer when it comes to certain things. Like all you gotta do is say that and put the idea in my head, and I can kind of visualize to see can I do it. You know what I'm saying? And if I can't mentally see it, it just won't happen. What's going on, Isaiah? But anyway, for those who just joined in, the topic I came with a closer for basically talking about sex and relationships. I'm talking about one night stands, no strings attached, open relationships, friends with benefits, threesomes when you're single or if you're in a relationship, talking to someone versus dating or a commitment, however you want to look at it. All right. Anthony says I couldn't do a threesome because it would be awkward afterwards because one party would be competing for attention and I would feel that I'm being dragged into the middle of it. No, what I just said was a perfect example, and there's many more than that before I came to realize that that just wasn't for me. First of all, I can be. That's not saying I am. I can be jealous. No, I'm gonna say yeah. Like I said, yeah, I could be jealous. I could be possessive and selfish when it comes to sex. I'm not talking about with an individual. I'm talking about with if there was three people involved. My attention and focus can only go for one person. Meanwhile, of course, the other person will be doing something. My attention is focused on that person. Of course, obviously, they're either gonna join in and be a part of giving that focus to that person, or they'll probably put the focus on me, which I don't mind. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really paying attention to that person. I know that they're there and they exist, but they could be doing something. They could be doing a fantastic job. But guess what? I'm still focused on that person. That's the reason why I say I'm mature enough to know that that doesn't work for me. And I'm not knocking it for those. Don't let my words discourage you, and stop you in your pursuit for doing that. Any individual that's listening to, if you feel accustomed to it, or you feel, that this completes you, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let the next man or woman's opinion about how they personally feel about it affect your ability to be able to do those things. These are the things in the future that I'm going to try to give out there to help other people feel encouraged to pursue what you like. There's too much trends going on that everybody seems to want to follow what everybody else doing, instead of, hey, why don't you take the lead and decide to say, hey, what identifies me? What is it gonna, what works for me? And follow your own path. Follow my own path got me here to where I'm sitting at today. Because I got tired of living other people's shadows and doing what other people consider, you know, politically correct. What up, Michael? You know, I was I was doing something last night, and I could have sworn I saw you there too. But I ain't gonna think too hard of it. But thank you for viewing, man. Um, but I want to know, when it comes to dating somebody or wanting to be with somebody, what are some of your ideas about timing? Do you think most of the reason why you don't have the kind of person you would want, or the person you would actively pursue, do you think it really has to do with timing? And if it is about the timing, what do you think needs to be said for both parties involved? Anthony Hill says, I've tried one night stands and my feelings would get involved, so that did work for me. What do you mean? You want to elaborate? I'm kind of confused with how you worded that, Anthony. All right. While you get your thoughts together, what is also your ideas of talking to someone versus dating? You know, all right. Rel says threesomes are not for me. Too much energy in the room, and I'm not sharing the stage with a third. I prepare too much for my performance. You know what, Rel? You're definitely man after my own heart. And I gotta watch you. What up, Wiz? What up, Wiz? Oh man. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it, man. Don't drive each other crazy in the car now. No, threesomes are a lot of energy, and again, it can work for certain people. I'm not going to say it can't work. I just feel like I just can't partake in that. I mean, the best chance that anybody would have of me existing in that environment was maybe the old me, the inexperienced me who didn't know what I wanted. That me was more open to, I guess, quote unquote, and I'm going to have fun with it. Some of you bottoms that would crave me to perform or see what my game is like, you was better off seeing that in my early 20s when I was inexperienced before I know. Now, mind you, yes, I'm a better person now than I was back then, and I have much more to show for because I'm experienced. But unfortunately, that my experience came at a price where I'm only willing to utilize or share my full potential and my experience with someone who I feel matches me. I'm only compelled to do that kind of work for that person and put an effort in. What up, Andy Lee? Andy Lee is watching. Wait, and I'm on Andy Lee page. But I know I heard you say something about it too one time, DNA, about one night stands. What is your interpretation of one night stands? What would be an ideal one night stand for you? I would definitely like to know
Well, I'm not really crazy about one night stands, but threesomes,
that.
my favorite.
Sound like a ice cream flavor.
Ice cream flavor. Chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla.
Ooh, triple threat, triple delight. All
I
right.
love threesomes.
It did have its fun, but again, like for me, like I've evolved to a person where I just rather find one person who could exhibit all the funds and glory that instead of having five people be able to do it, why can't you put all those qualities in one person?
Well, not five, three.
Well, for me, I have a big appetite, so three wouldn't be enough.
Well, you want a room of five. Rock presents.
Oh man, if y'all knew some of the thoughts that went into my head when it comes to these things, I tell you, y'all would never be the same again.
I think you're just a talker. I don't believe you have to put these thoughts into motion.
Guess what? I talk a good one, but guess what? I could definitely show it. Just give me the right thing. Trust me, I'm a savage. I take pride with it, and that's I give freely.
Should I make a few phone calls? Let's see. The night is still young.
I'll burn your eyeballs right out of your head.
Will you call? I'll make a few phone calls.
Rel says, I don't think it's about timing directly. You have to follow a path to draw in a person, and the timing will follow. Now, I kind of agree, Rel, and I disagree. With the timing part, think about it. What if one person's ready, but the other person's not ready? Obviously, the timing's not right. Maybe they're not in the right place in their life so that they could welcome a person or whatever you're offering or putting on the table. How can they really take to that if they're not ready for it, or they're not giving the qualities for that? Not that they have to show a readiness for you, but what if they know for themselves they're not ready? And then within the time that you were willing to invest and spend, you realize the timing wasn't right. What up, Jason Barnes? Trust me, I've learned that lesson the hard way. And unfortunately, the time is not right. You can waste a whole lot of time, and it can leave you bitter, jaded, or just pretty much like outlandish. Like, again, I'm gonna use a song. Fuck bitches, get money. Like, because of you, I'm on some real fuck a bitch shit. Like, I could be that nigga, and I don't want to take it there to be there for anybody because I'm a lover. What up, Walt Bucks? My nigga. He says, I believe you get timing in alignment with your actions, consistent actions. No, that plays a factor as well. And I'm glad you said that, Rel. I'm so happy you said that.
Let's put out a challenge.
Always. I'm going to start my rock challenge. If y'all watch my video, I posted.
No, the threesome challenge. All those in favor of a threesome and you're in New York, I can make a phone call to a hotel. Give us a presidential suite. Send us your picks to rock DM. DM rock your picks.
Now, mind you, I'm going to have to make this release form because I feel like people nowadays, when it comes to dealing with, yes, I'm going to have to make people sign release forms.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course.
I'm not saying that you're going to be filmed, but I'm talking about with the mental, spiritual damage that could be done if you're not, I'm not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, you don't know Me Too, right? The Me Too movement that the women have, Me Too. Oh, he did Me Too. We got to say you volunteered to come to this hotel and have fun.
Fun under
Unrestricted fun.
Fun under the sun.
Fun under the sun. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No. That doesn't sound like a half bad idea. Now that you got me thinking.
Well, you got the radio, you got social media. Let them send their pics. And we don't want no, what do you call that, fake pics? What's it called?
No catfishing.
No catfishing. As a matter of fact, we have to go on live to see what you look like, right? If you want to be judgmental, I don't know.
No, not judgmental. There's a better tasteful word than that, but
all are not welcome. Okay. Selective audience.
I mean, who's to say what's the qualifier or not? I mean, I'm not a judge, and I won't be anybody's judge. But all I can say was that. All it takes
is one look for me, so I'll be the judge. I got nerve, right? But I'll be the judge.
Well, who?
Oh no, it's not a show. It's just that since you have this platform, why not enjoy your audience in real life rather than just talk to them on social media? We can invite them to a live event. Let's call it.
Who would like to be a guest star on BU? You can say the sheet right here.
No,
right
it's not a guest star. It's a threesome. We're talking about threesomes. We're going to pick two people.
Who's to say there can't be an after party?
Well, I'm focusing only on the after party right now.
Of course you are.
So it's Rock plus 2, and I'll be security to make sure.
Oh, jeez. Screening for 2 people. I thought I got over that kind of.
You wouldn't want to have 3 tops all enjoying each other?
I don't think that's possible. It's barely.
Been there, done that.
But somebody's gonna want some ass at some point.
Maybe.
Rel says that person isn't the one. You'll draw some who aren't ready, and you'll have to be good at identifying those types. But know that they aren't the end goal. The one in alignment with you is your goal. The draw of frogs comes with getting the gem. True. Sometimes you do gotta kiss a lot of frogs before a prince. And I mean, I don't like that analogy because I like to deal with kings. I'm a king. You see my crown?
So do they DM you? Do they throw the DM to you tonight with the pics? If you're in New York, DM Rock on his Facebook page, and we'll select a few to have this threesome tonight.
Oh man, not trying to sound pretentious or full of myself, but I know, I know 2 bottoms I would love, but then I don't know, bottoms tend to get selfish and needy. I had 2 bottoms fight over the dick one time, and
you can handle 2 bottoms at once.
If I wanted to, I gotta want to do it, but I don't make it a point like, oh, I want to handle 2 bottoms. Like I don't go off giving off. I want this manhandle energy, anything like. Certain ones will get that quality that just naturally just bring it out of me.
That's what I'm saying. If you get 3 tops in a room, it's just so much fun y'all can have without anybody wearing anybody else.
You haven't realized the spectrum. Most tops are so selfish. They're gonna want to dominate or find somebody like, okay, who's taking this dick? Like if you're not, then I'm going somewhere. Like I'm not. I don't got time to entertain this. They're kind of dismissive with things like. I've only had one situation with another top where he didn't require. And I told you he was the Doxing version of me.
So I'm sure, maybe somebody can correct me. I'm sure threesomes are not going on a regular basis. So
you'd be surprised.
The 3 tops?
I don't know with that, but I just know that threesomes take place like anywhere.
Every other day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Trust me, my friends talk about that's. And my associates, they have a life. They have a book that I need. Maybe I need to take some classes.
I understand. But you can proceed. I interrupted.
All right. But yes, I believe that timing takes a place. And again, Rel, I couldn't agree with you anymore about the. You gotta be able to identify, and sometimes it's hard because you got people who they can relate to you so well on certain things that it's hard to see what's the difference. Like for instance, we could both like. R&B. We could both like rock music, but one of us is gonna like it more than the other. See, you need to get out of there. Like you can't. You don't have access here yet, Rel. It's you speaking my mind too much over there. But I definitely like where you're coming from with it. But I said, all right, so we covered the one night stand and open relationships and threesomes. Like I said, they all don't work for me. At one point, I've been down the road for any of these paths. It just didn't serve no purpose.
Well, the one night stands are whack.
Yeah, because why? And then they didn't expect you to bring your A game. Like, why would I bring my A game with the best part of me to a situation that's temporary? That doesn't make sense to me.
Are you assuming they want you to bring your A game, or is it a quick nut?
Why would you have sex if you're not going to enjoy it?
Do you know it's going to be a one night stand when you get involved, or you don't know?
I don't know about the other person, but for me, I feel like the only way I know it's definitely going to be a one night stand is if before and during sex, I feel or get the vibe that I won't say I'm better than you, but in the sense that like I'm bringing more, or let's just say this. If I come to the conclusion where instead of bringing 100% of me, I could bring 12%, my 12% would be 100% for that person. And I feel like if that person doesn't challenge me to use all of me and all I have to use is but 12% of what I have, I lose interest and that's going to be a one night stand.
Oh, they want it to continue, but you already decided it's one night stand.
Because at this point, this will be a privilege for you. Like, what did you do to make me want to bring this to you? Like, you better get your fix somewhere else.
But you didn't go into it thinking it's one night stand.
No.
Of course, of the activities.
No, because no different than what I think what somebody said about the sexual energy exchange. Like sometimes it's about the curiosity. Like in order for me to know if you have good sex, I have to actually engage in something sexual to know what you're about and what would drive me to say, oh, I like this, or I can see myself doing more. Or some people, sometimes I feel like I don't even want to come out of my clothes.
Then why not?
That's sometimes it's hard once you get there. I mean, curiosity means, if I had X-ray vision and I could take people's clothes off, trust me, I would do it.
Oh, so it's the
Not even just that. I'm talking about with how they carry themselves or what they have. Like I told you, I have nothing against feminine guys, but when you put them in a sexual situation with me, the minute they kind of do something, it sickens me. It just I can't function. I it's like you threw me off a cliff.
You're a hard man to please.
No, but why? Why should my pleasure be limited that anybody could please me?
You're definitely not a Scorpio.
Well, Scorpios, they have the same prowess and energies, but they do it differently. They're driven by something differently. But more or less, I consider them rivals. Sometimes, more or less, they can do it just as good or better, or sometimes it is terrible. They don't know what the hell they're doing. But then the same could be said for us Tauruses.
I think the Scorpion just wants the conquest, meaning I just want to try it.
Yeah.
And then move on to the next one.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
But hey, I think most bottoms are like that. They don't have to be Scorpios. They want it's a trophy. Like, okay, I wanted this one would compare if the one I had Tuesday night. Then whether it was good or not, it was like, or they might string you along long enough to figure out that okay, it used this purpose, so now I'm on to something else better. So meanwhile, you can be put a valiant effort to try to seal the deal, and next thing you know, it was just a conquest thing for that person.
And I always thought the tops were the ones who played those games.
Well, no, the tops are for the conquest, the bottoms are for the trophies. Think about a dick. A trophy is something hard.
But wouldn't they want to keep that trophy? As opposed to jump from Tom, Jack?
It's plastic.
Say it again?
It's plastic. The trophy is plastic. It ain't a real thing. It's like.
But I'm saying a real dick. If you got a real dick on Monday, wouldn't you want to go back to that dick on Wednesday?
Some of them is like I said, it's a trophy thing. Oh, I got this. I wonder what else is out there. There might be something bigger and better and badder.
Oh, and don't appreciate what they had the previous thing.
Because they weren't interested in the person attached to it. They were just interested in the actual construct, the dick.
Interesting.
Rel says, you are not a physical draw type of guy, as you mentioned. To get a guy like you, a guy has to be an artist and on a path to growth everlasting. And on a path, Well, no, I try not to focus on physical, but I do like physical characteristics and traits and features. I pay attention to it. So mind you, you don't have to have a pretty face. You might have other features that might accentuate, like I said, a nice smile, eyes, nose. Certain things might be situated on you differently compared to most. And I say this for men and women, for me, because not just because I'm not going to just throw the bisexual card, but I only say that because I have different criteria and tastes when it comes to dealing with women as well. But more or less, if I find in the realm of attraction with the type of people I'm attracted to, but I'm going to focus on men since this is same gender loving topic. When it comes to men, dudes, guys, males, I would say it could be more or less on the physical, but focusing on the physical, like I feel like I run into plenty of dudes who I guess you could say, quote unquote, could be either just as attractive or more attractive than myself. And they have the worst attitudes. They have a chip on their ego on their shoulder, or and even if they do find you attractive, some of them could carry such an attitude the way women do, where they could like you, but they're not going to show you in a certain way because they're looking for you to appeal to them the way other people do who might swoon over them or like throw themselves at them. So they're used to that attention being thrown at them, and they pick it a little like, oh no, not you, or maybe another time, And like, who wants to go through that? You know what I'm saying? Because they even try that game with me. Then they realize when they play that game with me, to me, the minute you show me you act funny or you move differently, you lost my interest. Anybody, male or female, I don't care who you are. It's a human trait that I don't like my partner, period, to have. So if you have that, miss me with that. You're better off finding somebody else who can feed into that. Because I don't feed into ego. I don't feed into pride. I'm not desperate. I'm not pathetic. I'm not none of that shit. I mean, I got a lot of things going for myself, mentally and spiritually. I got stuff that fucking money can't buy. I'm not arrogant. You know, I know what I said may have came off arrogant, and it could have been arrogant, but I know that I'm not going to be in the receiving end of somebody thinking that they could run this game and they scheme on me. Like, what did Eve say? Don't want your dough, don't want your car, don't want your jewels. No, not at all. With the mothers, you might rule it all, but not with me because I got it all. You know, I don't need nobody to validate or tell me these things. I know that I'm my own and I got my own self worth in my own. Like, I've arrived, and guess what? I'm still growing steadily strong. But like I said, for me, uh, like I said, oh yeah, we didn't really elaborate more on the open relationship. Uh, Basically, like I said, my idea is an open relationship to me is organized cheating. You know, if it's not enough to seal the deal, like why would I hold up that person until I feel I'm ready to be what's necessary so we could be that person, what they're willing to invest in me. If I'm not willing to take them up on their offer, I feel like they should go and explore and do what they want, and hopefully maybe in their turn when they do it, if they come back, if I'm available and I decide to want to do it, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest, if somebody puts me on hold and I talked about that back burner love shit, I don't play that. That's the reason why I talked about a topic like that. So if you're interested in me, we're both attracted to each other, we meet each other, I don't care where we meet each other. We met each other, then you talk about some, oh, da 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 da, or the timing isn't right, and this, that, and third. Cool, I'm cool. I don't like to pressure nobody because for me, the best thing that anybody could give me when it comes to dating or being in a relationship is not just your full undivided attention, but with the satisfaction knowing that you're not needy and you're not as demanding of my time, but you're demanding to a fault, because that's how I am. Um, I don't want to feel like I'm pressured to somebody. So if what I'm asking for is too much, and I'm asking for the basics, because the basics is going to build our foundation. And if you're not all about building the foundation, then guess what? I'm lost. But again, back to the timing thing. On all levels, I think the timing should be impeccable in the sense of you gotta be ready, you gotta be willing, you gotta be there in a moment's notice where you're ready to do it. Like I have nothing holding me back. So whatever unresolved issues I had before in my single life, you know, that had nothing to do with you, by the time I showed interest that hey, I want to get involved, trust me, those issues are long gone. They're so far behind me and so far removed that I don't have to worry about that. I have the confidence to pursue anything I wanted.
Can I ask you a question? In regards to how you speak so eloquently about sex, do you is there is this the only platform you have to express yourself in terms of, or do you have a chance to sit down with other men like yourself to express your amazing thoughts?
Not really.
So this platform,
It's the window is very small. Whenever I basically get in where you fit in.
so if you were able to talk to someone like a quote unquote therapist, would they want to sex you because you turn them on with all your nice stories and stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised.
So here's is it like a neutral platform where there's nobody going to attack you once you, once you express your thoughts. You know, I mean, you have your fans on social media, so you're safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe not mentally though, because I know that some of the thoughts that run amok in their minds, forget it. Trust me, I know it without even saying it. Certain words could just
Spark somebody's thinking hard.
or their ass getting moist.
Oh, okay.
No, and I have a way. And trust me, if I say something and talk about sexual things, trust me, people be like you just said, you think I'm all talk, and that's fine.
I was just joking.
Well, for those who actually do think I'm all talk, I implore you, like, I'm not going to sit there and open any, challenges like that. But I will say that I enjoy the revelation that people could think what they want to think about me, or whether they want to limit me or give me more than what it actually is. I would say I know I'm where I need to be.
So how would you start it off? Do you start caressing kissing?
I can't tell secrets. It just depends on
secrets.
It depends on the individual for me. Certain people would get a certain way. Like I move differently depending on who you are.
So what? Give us the features or the options. Like you don't have to say what's number one, number two, but what can we expect if they had an encounter with Rock? What are those features and options? Does Rock start caressing the neck? Does Rock start kissing? Does Rock expect to get a blowjob? Or do Rock gives the blow? Like, how does it work?
Some of those things are advanced mechanics, but they would meaning that they would happen in the course of time naturally. Not saying, oh, I'm demanding it or it's mandatory that this has to happen or take place.
But you meet the person, your first meeting, or maybe it might be a friend with a benefit you haven't seen in a while. And what's the first?
Friends with benefits for me is people who I've dated before.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're friends of yours that might go to the movie, and then maybe later on you might go to one's house or a hotel, right? Because they're both married and have kids, and you can't bring home the wifey, so you go so you go to one of those hotels and have a little fun, and tell the wife I'm working overtime, right? So it starts off with caressing, kissing, jerking. Is it TMI?
No, it's not TMI. It's just the way you're saying things kind of out of order. Like
that's what I'm saying. You can put it in order. I mean, I don't have no order.
Again, it really did. It depends on the chemistry and the vibe that would take me where I might do this first versus this, and then this may come along. It's just they're just in different places. Like it would depend on my needs and what I feel like. For instance, like, and mind you, this is by choice. I go weeks and months sometimes without sex, only because I feel like
that's hard to believe. A fine young black man with a big old dick like yours would go without sex for weeks and months. Oh, sorry, too much information. we got 3 of you listeners that quick.
I have to if the criteria or the parties that I would like or require are not available, or even if they are, they have attitudes, and I can't have sex with people who have nasty attitudes.
Okay? Do you have an attitude? You?
No.
So
my
you can't
attitude,
find men like you?
It's hard. If I did, trust me, we'd be talking about it right now. I would have been. My relationship experiences.
Right next to you, right?
Well, no, but my relationship experiences would have been more catered towards younger guys. Like I try to tell people and my friends, I don't have a thing for older guys. It's just that when it came to dating and being in a relationship, older men tend to want what I wanted when it comes to being in a relationship. And I got tired of just casually, mindlessly having sex with people. Like I had sex with the best of them. I get sexy young niggas like me, or dudes who's 10, 15 years younger than me.
But is it a one-nighter or is it a continuous friends with benefits?
Unfortunately, it's a one-shot deal, and sometimes it's not based on.
Why?
Sometimes it's about them, it's the trophy or the conquest. They had sex with a hot guy and they got that off their bucket list. Okay, what's the next one? On to the next one.
Is that a gay guy you dealt with, bisexual guy, a bi-curious guy, or straight guy?
A little bit of both.
So even the straight guy would just do it one time with you, and you like his fantasy?
Well, I never got in with a straight guy.
You're missing a lot.
Well, the thing is, I'm not going to pursue something that person's not looking for. Unless they're looking for it, I would never know. Mind you, to them, I come up for straight too. So they just looking at it in the sense like, oh, I'd rather not. Cause what if this nigga want to fight me or he might punch me in my face type shit? Like, I mean, I don't give that off, but that's what people perceive of me. I'm like, wow. I just wish that kind of mentality worked for people who would approach me who I wouldn't get the time of day for. I'd rather them think that way about me than me tell them you're not my type or I'm not interested.
They tell you or you tell them?
Or me tell them that. I'd rather them look at me and say, oh, he mean mugging or I can't approach him, da 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 da. I'd rather them look at me and think that, oh, he did see that, because they could critique me and say what they want. They don't know.
But a person like you who's very articulate and intelligent, right? You can hold a conversation about anything with a straight guy, and before you know it.
But it wouldn't be about sex, though. It would be about
a general topic about anything, sports, politics, you name it. And then before you know it, he's inviting you. Oh, homie, come over and
No, I've been there, and we just had nice, meaningful, regular conversations, like two regular human beings conversing. That's it. I wouldn't know how to break the ice to make it do it, and I might, because I've never been in a position where I had to do it. Normally, if any guy, regardless of what sexual orientation you have, if they have an interest in me, usually they did the work to try to figure out how can they find a way in.
Okay, I'm gonna change topic for a little bit. I'm gonna give you this hypothetical. Okay.
All right.
Okay. You have a friend with a benefit. You have a friend with benefit. You have a friend with benefit. I can't get it right. How you pronounce it? You have a friend who y'all have benefits with. That makes sense?
Friends with benefits.
Okay. You have a friend with benefits. You haven't seen the person in probably 6 years, but y'all run into each other on the outside, right? And let's say later on that day it's raining, and then that friend with benefit knocks on your door. You're not expecting them to knock on your door, but they knock on your door, and they said, "Oh, I gotta take this package to my girl. Can I borrow an umbrella?" Right? Would you give them an umbrella?
Yeah.
Okay, so you give the individual an umbrella, and you don't care about bring it back or not, right?
Pretty much.
So they come back probably. That was like say 7 o'clock in the evening, right? Then they knock on your door, let's say at 12:30 midnight, 12:30 a.m. after midnight, and they say, "Oh, here's your umbrella. By the way, can I take a shower?" What would you do?
I don't see no problem with that.
Okay, so they take a shower, and now they come out the bathroom in just a towel.
I mean, my imagination might go there, but I would never.
This is a previous friend with a benefit, but the door is always open.
But it would depend on how I feel that night. Like if I'm actually horny and I feel like I want to kind of do something, who's to say that they came out there in this house? Who's to say I didn't join them in the shower?
Okay. They wanted to take a shower. You asked to join in, and then you go, okay. So that upsets the whole entire apple cart in terms of my little scenario here. The party already started in the shower.
well, you already said you should have realized you kind of checkmated yourself when you already started the situation with we were already friends with benefits, meaning that we've already somewhat or still have some kind of sexual thing.
But it's been like 6 years since y'all encountered.
Listen. I have a Scorpio friend who his namesake, and it's a shame that he's not watching the show right now. But he shares the same namesake as me. He's like the older brother I never had. And mind you, we go through times where we don't see each other for years. And it's like, in order for us to behave ourselves, we would literally have to go to like a bar or like a restaurant where we could sit and like have a conversation, talk. But if we chill in a house setting, we're not behaving ourselves.
So who makes the first move?
It could be either or. Listen, a Scorpio and Taurus, anything is liable to happen between anyone. Any one of us could, just take charge and make the moves and do things and just have somebody like tied up in a sling type shit.
Sounds like downtown. I went to the street.
What up, Jeffrey? Oh, let me read some of these comments. Okay. Rel says, you have nothing to prove to anyone regarding your sex grade. Agreed. Michael says, if only open relationships meant having multiple conversations instead of multiple partners. I totally agree. I was like, why can't an open relationship be like, again, you deal with somebody consistent? But then again, that would be too easy because if you can deal with somebody consistently, then what is the premise of having an open relationship? Why not be with that person that you feel like you have a connection with?
Because variety is the spice of life.
Yeah, variety of selfish people. And let's not forget about even though men can't have kids that way, thank God. What about the diseases? Not just that, the time and the effort. Like, who really has time to go after this one to this one? Because to me, the rule that I heard for most open relationships, especially in gay world, LGBTQ or the same gender loving, and preferably gay men, because they think with this mentality, is we have our thing, but we don't contact that person, and maybe we might call that person again for future, threesomes, or that was a one-shot deal, because if we do have a threesome, it's got to be with somebody totally different, only so that you don't get attached to that person, or that person don't get attached to you guys. Thank you, Jeffrey. And do it. I'm like, to me, there's too many rules. I feel like open relationships should say, hey, if we're open, again, that's basically saying that I want to be with you, but I don't want to be with you. But I want to hold the fact that nobody else has access to you because I want you, and two, I feel like I'm ready to deal with you. That's what an open relationship is to me.
Well, doesn't the open relationship bring spice to the relationship?
If you establish, but then what's so bad in your relationship that you need to open spice? Like, here's why I say, if that's the case, get you a Scorpio, a Libra, or a Taurus. They're the most creative that I've yet to do. I could say I've dealt with when it comes to being in a relationship. That individual will give you all the special you ever need. That person will be like 4 or 5 people. Trust me, you won't need actual 3 or 4 bodies to fulfill that need.
Describe this Libra.
No, I only say that because they share Venus just like Tauruses, and they're just as tenacious, and they can not only charm the socks off you, but they got skills that you shouldn't underestimate them under any circumstance. I'm gonna tell you a story about a Libra. My first Libra boyfriend when I was living in Philly. This dude, he liked me.
What age?
I was 21, 22. No, I didn't turn 22. I turned 22 when I was with him, but I was about 20 or 21 at the time I first met him, and we met each other, and he was trying to get me. And in fact, he made a bet with his friend about who would be able to talk to me first. He won the bet, but he didn't get to talk to me as far as like date me, but as far as like get my number or spend time with me, to lead up into that. He was the victor in that.
And you both the same age?
No, he was 31.
Okay. So you're a young and tender. Okay.
But not that much young. People keep thinking young means that I'm inexperienced. No, don't let this face fool you.
I mean, you're 21.
Yeah.
And he's 31, so he has 10 years over you in terms of experience. Okay.
Age ain't nothing but a number. Some people could be twice my age don't even have half because life didn't give them that set of experience to get that information.
They were in some deep closet and didn't know how to happen.
Hey, or they didn't try much things, but we're not going to talk about people like that.
You see, it sounds interesting.
Well, after we spent time and kicked it a few times, he wound up going to jail. He came back from jail the following year. And when he saw me from that day, we was kind of inseparable. And he said it even that day before it actually became official. He said, "You're going to be my boyfriend one day." And I was like, I just kind of laughed and like didn't pay no mind, but I remember those words. Those words echoed, and I didn't pay homage to it till like I was like 26 and 27. Mind you, I wasn't with him at that time because 22 was the last day we chilled with each other. And it was funny because it made me think about like you gotta be careful with Libras. Libras have an uncanny way of speaking things into existence. They could say something without even really meaning it, and it happens. It happens. It's true. And I didn't even think about it. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about it. Like I didn't put much thought into it, and it just happened. Like, wow, we done been through so many things. We got experience. We had adventures, and it was just like I just never thought of it. Like, wow. And mind you, another reason why I say Libras are pretty good when it comes to that because they know how to push people the right way without being overboard. And you don't realize that you're in greatness or the things that you didn't think you were capable of doing, you're actually doing them and not even realizing it. You don't even think about it. It's almost like it comes natural. But he was too much of a control freak, a manipulator, and
this is the Libra.
Yeah. And
is that part of their nature?
Think about their scales. One minute they could be the best person in the world, the next person they could be the biggest piece of shit alive.
So, you finished? No, that's
well, yeah. But basically, what I'll say, if you really want that kind of spice, here's my point. A Libra could be 2 or 3 people. They have different personalities. They like to win. They could be in this direction in one moment, the next moment it could be this. So,
a moment is like what, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, an hour?
At any given time, a breeze could be flowing in this direction. Next thing you know, it could reverse or go exact opposite in any different directions.
So from positive to negative in a matter of seconds, minutes, hours. Okay. So changing topics a little bit. We finished with the Philly story, the Libra story. Sorry. Now you're trying to create this. What's the word? Now everybody about Scorpion. You say Scorpion. Ooh, hot Scorpions.
They're just good for sex. They just know how to bring sex. Their sex game is the energy is
amazing.
Beyond amazing. I can't put it. I'm not trying to big them up. I just know that the energy rivals and matches my own. But
but that's what I'm trying to say. Taurians, how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Taurians.
Taurians don't have that type of mystique or that type of reputation or type of.
It's because our bad qualities, namely being stubborn, tends to overshadow that. But
that's the biggest thing people say about.
But guess what? When they get with us, a lot of people could say that they complain, they could cry all they want, but for the most part, a lot of them will say that, hey, that was the best motherfucker I've been around.
They weren't that stuff.
No, because we don't be that. People gotta get us to be that way. And the thing was, once we get that way, based on the things that people do or bring to the table, they get upset and want to bellyache and cry and complain because they can't get their way. You can't dominate the strong. You can't go and tell a bull like, "Hey, stop that," or "Go over here. I want you to stand over there." Well, I'm gonna look at you like you're stupid. I'm gonna stand where the fuck I want to stand. You can't tell me what to do. Now, if you're a good leader and you have good leadership skills, I'll follow you. A leader could request and ask me to do something versus give me an order to do something. I don't take orders. But if you ask me a request, you ask me a certain kind of way, I can comply. I could comply. And in fact, I'm one of the very few Tauruses that would use this word. Compromise is not an issue for me. I don't mind compromise. You know why? Because me being the God-fearing man that I am, I would say we don't always get our way. We don't always get what we want. And I'm willing to compromise because at least something gets done. We both could be happy about something. Okay, I don't mind giving a little because you're giving a little. You sacrifice, I'll match you. But if you think you're gonna get your way completed, if you know what, do your own thing. I'm gonna go over here. But people don't like that. They want this action. Like, but why? If it's that important to you, then find a way, find a middle ground that we both could meet in the middle and be equals. But most people aren't. Now, if you were in a partnership, that's a different story. Now, my partner, I don't mind compromising, but sometimes I don't mind giving them completely their way because I know when the time is right, certain things should go my way completely, especially if I did my homework. And I'm only going to go for those things I know is applicable or right for me. Meaning if it's not, I'm like this. Like, I don't really care about the subject. I'll cooperate and be a part. I'll be a team player just for that particular thing, only because I really don't particularly care for it. And I know my time for when I need it to happen is coming. So I'm putting the energy back. You know what they say, what you put into what you get back out. So if I could be fair about certain situations and not steal people's joy, I deserve the same thing back in return. What up, Damon? Damon Hunter.
Interesting.
And yes, Jeffrey, you're right. One person should be enough. And yes.
Boring.
No, when you're young and inexperienced, that's when you should really live that life to get experience. Once you get to know who you are, what you want, now you could think along the lines of, I guess, how I think.
Well, if that's the case, you look at Roger Ailes. There's a movie out about the the guy who helped organize Fox News. He was probably 50, 60, 70 and still wanting multiple women. And then you have the producer, I think the guy named, the producer guys, that big court case. I can't think of it. Weinstein, right? You have the Weinstein, then you have the Epstein, you know what I'm saying? So it's not that you reach a certain age and you just want to chill with one, is that you have this appetite for multiple, maybe.
But that's why you don't let your cravings get too out of control where you can't control it and it's insatiable because then there's no limit. Then again, you wind up doing things you shouldn't do and settling. Trust me, let's just say this. The way you just kind of said about doing certain things and how if you don't do it this way, you sound boring. That you tend to get in a situation where you like, especially after it's done, you're like, damn, I can't take that back. Like, no, I went here. Yeah, you can't take back the energy.
As long as it was good.
For you to say what you just said is bad. If you said I can't take it back because you want to take it back, obviously it was bad. You see what I'm saying? Because that was because you didn't have no criteria or no focus to say, hey, this is what I want. I know what it is because I've already had experience. That's why I said when you're young, when there's not very many consequences, you could do those things to get to where you're at. You get what I'm saying? But only you can determine when you're ready for that, regardless of what age. But to me, that's a young way of thinking because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want. So why not test the fields and test the waters, see what's out there. That's when
you're young.
Yes.
But suppose you were not aware of your same gender loving needs. So you played the role of a straight individual. And then when you got older, let's say in your 40s, you finally say, okay, these pussies and titties are not satisfying me. Let me go really after what I really want.
I believe in late bloomers. Like I consider myself starting late. I don't get me wrong. Like there's a difference between experimenting the curiosity phase, and when you're actively pursuing it because you know this is what you like. Now, in the experimental phase, I think all kids do it, and whether you do it with another guy or you may do it with a female. I mean, we're human beings, especially when we're adolescents. We're learning about our bodies, and this is about the time I guess you could say a little bit before puberty or even during puberty or after puberty. You're trying to find a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Identity to, I want to say to differentiate, are you gay, straight, bi? I'm talking about exploring your bodies. It's sex. And of course, and everybody knows adult world is different than children world. Most people don't know what children go through, dealing with things like that, especially with what they mimic or imitate because of things that they've seen and what they learned. So, to me, that's not the experimental phase. That's the no, that is the experimental phase. No, that is the experimental phase. Then you got the curiosity. Curiosity is when you're old enough to know the difference between a male and a female, and you know the dynamics and you know the biology and everything and stuff like that. And um, I would say that could lead to many things where you might say, okay, whether you experimented or use an exploratory phase when you was a child versus, like I said, when you come in, to your age and know that, hey, I want to see what it's like to do it, or what's the buzz about, like I said, and I've had the satisfaction of being on all three realms. And then we got to the last place where I knew at this point it wasn't a phase for me no more because even without being exposed to it or seeing it, I found myself fantasizing about it and actually getting excited and aroused about thinking about it. But then once that moment was over, it's like I came back to my senses, like, ew, I just thought about a dude that way. And I'm like, I kind of washed that off my mind. And,
You felt guilty?
I wouldn't say I felt guilty. I just felt disgusted or sick that, like, I resorted to that, but it took me some time.
What stage was that? What stage was that?
I would say this was the,
Experiment?
no, around the experimental phase, yeah. No, the curiosity phase.
That's it?
Yeah.
So, have you ever heard the term, oh, they'll grow out of it?
Yeah.
You've been told that?
Yeah.
So did you finish? I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So now, if it's TMI, let me know. Now, did you come from an open household where it was clothing's optional, let's say? Or did you come from a strict household and you're like Muslims, dressed, covered up from head to toe?
I wouldn't say that. I feel like I lived in a normal household. Like when you get out the shower, you gotta do one or two things. You gotta walk to your bedroom with your towel, or sometimes what I used to do is I'll bring like a pair of shorts and maybe a wife beater or something like that, to put on, to do my little things and stuff like that. Because when I do that, I'm already, kind of, lotioned up. I got my smell goods on, so then
You did all that in the shower, in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Why? Because you couldn't do it in the bedroom?
It wasn't because I couldn't do it. I mean, I didn't have my own bedroom. If I had my own bedroom, then yeah, I would do it. Like
that's what I'm saying.
I shared a bedroom. I mean, it was more of a choice and an aesthetic. It was like
society?
I wouldn't even say it. I don't look at it as a societal thing. It was just something that I felt naturally occurred. It wasn't a rule that was talked or we discussed that this is how it should be. It was just more like.
Oh. So there was no rule in the house saying you cannot come out the shower butt naked.
No
rule.
No, it wasn't a rule.
You can't come out to the shower with, let's say, a towel only.
No, it was. I guess whatever floated your boat. I mean,
nobody wouldn't throw stones at you if you did.
No.
So that's open. That's open. That's actually.
But I didn't look at it like that. To me, it was just normal. I didn't look at it like, oh, this is a rule, or oh, this family don't do this, or they feel it's taboo. I never looked at it like that.
And it was no big deal when you did, right?
Yeah. I just never practiced that because.
No condemnation. I mean, okay, you're going to, was nothing like that?
Nah.
Oh, that's cool. That's beautiful.
Mind you, I grew up in a household with 11 kids. 11 of us. We outnumbered the adults.
What stair steps? What ages? What do
you mean? Well, technically, I would be the middle kid, meaning like, let me see, I would have like, me, yeah, I was in my household. I was basically the middle kid. I had like at least 4 people younger than me and 4 people older than me. So I was the one that was in the middle. That was only the age I was. And I was like, so I was like the neutral one, or and I'm not trying to steal the credit, but technically I was labeled as the good kid of the house. But
How big was his house? Was that a private house or?
It was a house in Long Island.
A real big
house, yeah, mailbox,
Interracial?
I wouldn't say interracial. We were black, Filipino, just.
Do the Filipinos actually feel like they call themselves black, or they a person of color?
I guess you could say some of them could be, especially let's just say if their parents happen to be a person of color and they just happen to, have it in their blood or their genealogy, and it was removed. I mean, all I can say was that
11. So now, if it's TMI, let me know. Now, was this all blood?
Yeah.
Your parents had 11 kids?
No, not my. They weren't my siblings. They were I was adopted.
Okay. Well, I don't know why I'm asking all these questions. I came out of a household where there were 9 kids, and all from one mother and one father. So I got nervous asking these questions.
But my aunt, like my biological aunt, she had like at least 12 or 14 kids. I remember going to a house one time and she had like a picture starting with her, since she's basically the matriarch of her family, and everybody from her first kid down to she has kids that basically her first daughter is my mother's first cousin, because my grandfather and her are brother and sister. And like I said, but her family was just so huge. It was just like, wow, just to see that. And then to grow up with some of my 3rd or 4th generation cousins that some of them are around my age and stuff like that. Mind you, I knew them growing up too, but they didn't live in my household. They lived in Philadelphia. And after I had left my home, out here in New York, I went to go live with them.
Okay. Do you guys have family reunions?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Interesting. If it ever gets TMI, let me know.
Nah, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, because I am family oriented, and I have good, chemistry with my family, and I'm glad that they more or less still not only are they supportive, but they still look at me as the same crazy, goofy, smart mouth kid that grew up.
So you plan to have kids one day? Absolutely. At what age?
I'm not looking at any particular age, but hopefully the right person come along where we could kind of do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm game.
Would you just have kids and here's a $5,000 check now, go your way? Or you want?
No, I'm going to be a part of their lives. I'm going to do things with them, take them to school.
No. You keep the kids, but the woman goes away.
I would like for the mom to be a part of their life, because I think she's just as important as me.
I wanted kids since I was let's say 13, 14, 12, I don't know. But I didn't want no woman. I didn't want no wife. I was trying to figure out how would I do this? Maybe I'll adopt. Here I am.
So you wouldn't let them spend time with their mom, take them over so they might.
She's there was this TV show called The Courtship of Eddie's father, or something like that. So he was a single parent dad that had one son, and they had an Asian housekeeper. And I always wanted to have sons, but never no wife to be involved in the picture.
Poor soul.
Why is that poor soul? That was great.
So you don't want the mom a part of the life? I mean, she don't have to live with you, or you have to date her, or be in a relationship. You don't have to be committed with each other, but she wouldn't be a part of the child's life?
Well, see, I was thinking at that young age back then that I can adopt. I didn't know about all this futuristic stuff you can just get, what's the word?
A surrogate mom.
Oh, I didn't know nothing about that at 13 years old.
Well, true. That didn't exist at that time, but.
So I just wanted, it's about, I was never into chasing skirts. So I was just saying that I wanted to have kids. But I guess I put kids on the back burner and put business in the main seat for the role of whatever you call it. I don't know.
Imagine the DNA Junior.
DNA Junior, DNA the second, DNA the third.
Knowing you just have that. You probably would have multiple kids. Knowing you, and
I would say 3, because you don't want one that'll be lonely. So I guess 3 or 4 would be they can all work together, and take over the empire,
Well, thank God men can't get pregnant.
Can't top to get pregnant.
Michael Johnson says, "What are your thoughts on polyamorous relationships?"
Could you explain?
Hmm.
What does that mean?
Polyamorous means you have multiple partners.
That was horse, being a hoe.
I'm talking about as far as like you're in a relationship with multiple partners, or maybe you might be married to 2 or 3 women and
Oh,
stuff.
officially married.
Yeah,
Oh, not just having roommates and everybody's
yeah.
doing each other.
Basically, y'all have some type of committing thing, but when you have it with multiple people.
So what's your opinion?
My opinion is, my preference is I still prefer one-on-one, but I am open to multiple options. I would say like this day and age, there's too many cruel, needy people who are selfish and they don't put the right things forward, or people don't know how to actively pursue what their true heart desires, and they get these temporary situationships or fixes for the moment that only last for that moment, and it's a complete train wreck after that. And who really has time to deal with train wrecks and baggage and just damaged goods, but again, rather than deal with that, like I said, I'm open to it, but that's not going to be my priority or number one on my list. That would probably be like 12 or 14. I'm just throwing a random number, but it's so far from moved because I believe like I can't romance and seduce multiple people, like, because then I would have to come up with a different card or a different scheme for each individual. That's so it doesn't. I believe in creating the right kind of variety and energy on the signature that's specifically for that person and that person alone. I can't do what I do for James and expect Kevin to feel like it's the same thing. Whatever I do for James, I gotta treat Kevin differently, do something that only Kevin can relate to and feel like, yo, this feels good, da da da, that he knows it's for him and only for him. Same with Tatiana or Danielle. Like if she wants to deal with me, I'm not going to treat like every woman that I'm dealing with the same. I'll give them the same type of I can't do that because then I feel like there's no sense of identity. There's no sense of individualism, and I respect people being individual because I'm an individual, and I refuse to be handled or treated any other kind of way because you decide to treat this person this way, or that's how you treat people. No, I'm not a carbon copy of everybody. I'm my own person. I'm in my own category, good or bad. If I fuck up, I want to fuck up in such a way that you can't tell anybody else or tell me that I fucked up the way anybody else do because I'm in my own category.
Let me ask you this before you start reading more. Now, let's say you knew someone who do not know the terms top and bottom, but to make life simple, they are bottoms, but they don't know the terms. They never heard it. They never know. They don't talk in that language. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe in labels, but they prefer being the bottom. So, and there's as masculine as you are, right? Well, as I am, right? Dubbed out, swagger, beauty, body, dick, everything. And then for 10 years, there's no labels. We're just men enjoying each other, right? And on that 12th year, they come to you and say, I'm a bottom. Would you ask them, who the heck told you were a bottom? Where did you get that from? Because during that 10-year period, you guys were dealing with each other, there were no labels. So apparently, they must have explored someplace else and gave up the booty, and then somebody said, oh, you're a bottom. Make sense?
I guess I never had a circumstance like that, but but I'm trying to figure out where you're trying to go with it.
No, I'm just asking the question because I don't know. Do you believe in labels, or you just?
I believe it fits on certain levels to certain individuals, but for other people who enjoy the multifaceted ways that sex could be, that they don't have to limit that way. Like, for instance, if you do like taking dick or you do like giving out the dick, I guess you don't have to say those things, but then it makes sense to some degree when you think about it, top and bottom.
Yeah.
That
so simple.
To me, top is just another way of saying that he's a man that likes to use his dick in the situation if he's dealing with men. Same with a bottom, and not to that. Normally, it's usually the man on top of the woman. Now, if we use the heteronormative sense of like in that situation, you got a male and female. Obviously, only one person could give the dick, only one person could take the dick, and usually the man is on top. Now, a woman. Now we could make an argument and say oh, women could get on top, they could ride and da 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 da. Now they're on top, of they control, or they could fuck you with your own dick, which I've seen. I think it's fantastic that a woman could do that if she got the right skills and she's kind of, I wouldn't say flexible, but like I guess you could say, what's the word I'm trying to use? I know ambidextrous means you can use both hands, but let's just say she's talented that she could do things and she know how to just like this arch and just ride the dick to a way where you feel like you would think that she has a dick. And in certain instances I've seen a woman ride a dude in such a way that it looked like she had a dick and she was fucking him.
Is it a movie or real life?
It was a movie. No, it was a porn.
White, black?
It was black.
Black.
But it to me it was just hot. Like I mean, 'cause again, sex is so fun and fantastic. But again, I don't limit sex to just fucking has to take place. What about exploring the body to get to the point? You know what I'm saying? That maybe that could take place. But to me, I feel like the only way I'm gonna bring that game with somebody who I'm trying to keep, somebody who I can't be that for somebody for the moment. I'm not dick on demand. The only way I could be that is if we're already committed and we're already established and we don't have time to, do the full total package deal. And I get that. And trust me, I could be on demand. I used to call, when I was with my Libra, the one I was talking about earlier, uh, we used to call it the clubhouse. Like we didn't have time to do things, or I was on my way to work and we was, and then we had like a couple like 5-10 minute, like I said, that was our quickie. So we do our little thing somewhere, and at any moment it could, be where we could do our thing where you would think that we were just two strangers who just met, we bumped uglies, then we parted ways. But I mean,
how long was that quickie last?
Like I said, 5, 10, 15 minutes at best.
I never had a quickie before.
Really?
Never had a quickie.
You never got your dick sucked for like 10 seconds or 10 minutes and then you good?
No. Every time I had sex, it was done in a bed. I never did sex outside of...
Boring!
Well, see, I like threesomes and you like quickies, so I mean...
No. Quickies is when you don't have the time to get into the whole total package thing. When, because not every sexual setting is going to be like...
a waste of a good session.
What?
I can't enjoy it.
But section, I mean, this is why I said if you got into a relationship with people, you would understand the significance and what a quickie means. A quickie could just be like a quick fix, like a donut on the car tire. You're not going to keep that donut on the car for the rest of your life. It's just temporary until you get the actual replacement.
But it's not a one-time thing. Quickies
okay. If you're on your way to work and you don't have time to do this because you're going to be late for work and you're business oriented, like you said, so you would do that thing because that moment you need to do whatever you need to do to get that off. So you do it because it would hold you until when you come home. Now you can do the whole full shebang of what you missed out and didn't have the time to do.
See, that would have been a waste of a good ejaculation because I would rather save that for the main course.
Listen, I told you, I have a good 4 or 5 in me, and my limit at one point was 8 in one day. I could probably still do it right now, but mine comes from the person I'm with. The drive, the energy. I feed off the energy. So if you're not supplying me with that energy, you're only going to get so much that, again, it's got to be drive that matches me. If I match your drive, trust me, I'm going to have you running rugged. You're going to be doing all different types of exercises with me.
So how many people get that 8 nut in one day?
I don't know. I never really talked to.
What I'm saying was it that one person you felt?
Oh, that one person, yeah.
It wasn't like 10 guys who deserved that. Mm-hmm. Just one person.
Just that one person.
No, I never had a quickie.
Okay, let's see. All right, Rel says open relationships. It's a lot of energy, and I think energy is God's allowance to us. We are only allotted so much, and that is so true. Yes. Energy is definitely a currency, and it can't be. And this is why I say this is exactly why I want to say. Well, I'll call it what it is. People would say it's a hang-up. The reason why I have hang-ups with how I critique and how I do things, especially when it comes to sex, is think about that. What Rel just said about the energy, and you're only allowed so much. Energy is a currency that money can't buy. You can't buy at the store, and once you utilize it or use it, you can't get it back.
That's what I'm saying. With quickie, you can never get back.
No, but think about how I say with a stranger who you could just have sex at the drop of a dime. Like, I don't know you. I don't know what to expect to have that history. But let's just say in the interviewing process, we could probably find out certain things that can do advanced things. But people, when they find you sexually attractive, they think they're going to get the whole shebang. Like, and I find that very funny because then that's like I know what you want and this is what I have and I think this is good for you, so I'm going to give you this. You don't know what I like. You don't know what it takes to make it so that, hey, I'm happy or I'm satisfied. You get what I'm saying? And some people try to satisfy you to such a degree that they focus on their vision of what satisfaction they want to give you versus what satisfaction you actually are looking forward to get.
So let's say you're a tourist and you met this gorgeous, beautiful tourist, right? And you were busy, so you had to take care of business. And you give this individual your number. And of course, they'll never call. They'll never, follow up.
My life.
Well, no, what happened was...
No, that this actually happens.
Well, this situation was a little different. The person actually followed up. So that would have been a nice quickie if let's say I wasn't in a rush to take care of business. Because I'm just business orientated, I said, okay, if you're interested, here's the number, call me, whatever. And then probably a week later, the person calls, is like, oh, they actually called. And they actually traveled from Manhattan to Yonkers. And I'm going, I told you the story briefly, this hot.
I think I remember about Yonkers.
Hot tours. Oh, unbelievable.
Blew your mind. And you never found a way to replace that, huh?
Well, because I moved from Yonkers, and it probably still got the same old number. We never figured out how to stay in touch with each other. But I'm just saying, I didn't know I was supposed to have a quickie rather than give him my number. See, I didn't know that. I was supposed to have had a quickie.
It's about reading the situation. Sometimes we don't always read the situation correctly. But
I didn't know nothing about it. I knew nothing about it. I must have been 25 years old. I knew nothing about quickies. So I'm thinking, here's my number.
But you're so smart, though. You're just as capable, if not intelligent, when it comes to certain things. But I guess it goes to say that the less you expose to certain things, when you don't immerse yourself in it, of course, you're not going to know how to read the certain verbal cues to, utilize that or take advantage of this situation. Granted, let's just say this: the things you probably know now, you would have took full advantage of it. I know that you would have.
Well, that's why I like threesomes.
You missed. It's not that. It's for me. Like I said, when you have that energy, like I do, like I said, we can be possessive, and that only comes from we drive other people to be possessive. And it's not my intention. It's just that's what people get. Like, oh, you just so hot and so fine. Like, I don't want nobody to have you. Like, this is mine. Like, nobody can have this. Like, this is not for nobody. This, I'm not sharing this. Like,
But see, when you're saying, I don't want nobody to have you, as if the person's going to leave you and just go with that other person. Where I'm saying it's a continuous friends with benefit threesome.
Show me one that exists. This is called consistency. This is why.
You'll fall in love. I can hook it up, but you'll fall in love.
No, I won't. First of all, I don't get my feelings that easy. Trust me. I might talk about it. Like I said, those are things that I enjoy. But here's my point. It really happens.
Information over the radio?
Not at all. I mean, it's helping people get to understand, know me better. So
But it's too much information for me. Give out my secret. Wait a while, right?
All right. Michael says, poly relationships are usually only 3 people, but I can't see how you would divide up the time, attention, love, etc. between the 2 people. But usually polyamorous means that they know about each other and they all kind of, I'm not sure like if they in a 3-way relationship, but my interpretation is maybe they have that one person. The one person is the star. And let's just say,
no, we gotta add David at 4:00.
Okay.
And I'll do the gospel. Okay?
All right.
Finish
all right. I feel like usually the male is, the patriarch of the thing, and he's basically the only one, and he's in a polyamorous relationship with multiple women. And basically, he's the dick supplier, and he has his choice of any women he could have, one at a time. And my idea of a polyamorous relationship is when there's 4 of us. It means there's 2 women and 2 men, and we're all bisexual.
Okay, that sounds like a party. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And I think I worded it before. I said, like I said, that doesn't mean I'm looking for it. It's not my priority. All I'm saying it's
It's my priority.
it with women too.
Oh no, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think that was for you.
Okay, I you got me.
But basically, it's about to have the best option. To me, that's truly having the best of both worlds because you're in a relationship with two women and another guy. So when you have your need for guy, you have him to fill those things, and then let's just say if individually that both of the women that we're dealing with, well, one of us was, let's just say we was in single relationship with, I was with one woman and he was with the other woman. We just decided to, hey, let's, almost like swingers, but there's a spin on it. And it's basically like we have the options. Like, let's just say I can have the option of dealing with two women, or let's just say I'm with Brenda and Jessica, and I don't feel like Brenda tonight, and I feel like I want some of Jessica tonight. I have that option. Instead of going out there and finding another woman, I have two different women to choose from.
And all four of you guys are living together?
Yeah, and then who's to say that all four of us can't do something? And yes, we would be living together.
Oh, yeah. Is it always the four of you? It's never just two and two. It's always the four.
It could be, and here's my point. We would live in the thing. Let's just say I want to spend the night with Tyrone.
Oh, so
and not that, because she wouldn't feel left out. Jessica and Brenda would be with each other, or Jessica and Brenda could spend the night with me, or they could spend the night with Tyrone. You know what I'm saying? There's options.
Well, why separate? Why not?
No, but
we only do sex in this one room, and we never do it outside of bars.
Now that to me that sounds boring. I'm saying that I'm just utilizing the different options of things because you don't know the mindset of how each individual could feel at any given time. That's not saying that this happens all the time. Like,
but they can always join in. Like
yes,
you and Tyrone,
yes.
It's happening.
But I'm saying, but even in the nights where we might be feeling like I have my nights where I would prefer to be with a man versus a woman.
But the option is if I'm with Tyrone,
yeah.
So if you're with Tyrone, if somebody walks in, they can join in. It's not like, oh no, get out of here.
Yeah. If she sees, she's like, hey, I want to give it in, or if she wants to toss some salad, or she wants to suck the dick, or she wants to get both of the dick, hey.
Now you're making me not want to read this, but I got to.
I could go back to it. All right.
We got to promote our radio.
All right. We're gonna promote for our station.
Let's start off with Damon at 4:00, please.
All right. The number one internet radio station in the world, DNAradio.net. We play the best new music all day, every day, 24/7. Our live shows are as follows. Every Saturday at 4 p.m., we got
Film, Food, and More starring Damien at 4 p.m.
And at 5, we have... Wait, is that right? Yeah. We have Love and Lust starring Red Spice.
Do that again. Give her a credit. Do it right for her.
Mm-hmm. At 5 p.m., we have Love and Lust starring our girl Red Spice, co-starring our host Wiz. Then we got Be You with your host Rockman at 6:30. Then we have Venus versus Mars at 8 p.m. starring your girl Charms and our boy Wiz. It's a show about every and anything and never the show about nothing.
Venus versus Mars. Now, also on the same DNAradio.net, we do gospel on Sundays. So it's 24/7 good music, but on Sundays, starting at 6 a.m., we play gospel for 24 hours, 6 a.m. Sunday until 6 a.m. Monday. Now, our associate station, let me just read the script without, not freestyle, I'll read the script. Also listen to our 24-hour gospel station, JesusOnlyRadio.com. That's JesusOnlyRadio.com. All day, every day, 24/7. Yes, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, commercial free. No commercials, no infomercials, just pure gospel music on JesusOnlyRadio.com. And on that note, I'm not sure how your schedule is, but there's nobody behind us except for the DJs in Europe. So if we want to continue this conversation, we can pause it at midnight Eastern Standard Time here in America. On deck, no, we're going to Las Vegas tonight. We're going to switch over to
Las Vegas. I got to get to Las Vegas, yeah.
We're going to switch over to Las Vegas, not Europe tonight. So you let me know if we want to continue or we pause it at midnight, which is 3 minutes from now. we can continue the conversation. It's in your hands because Las Vegas is flexible. Okay? So I don't know where we stopped at in terms of the foursome.
It was well, my page my live kind of went down, so I lost the comments that somebody said on my thing. But
I still have comments over here. I can see it over here.
No, I not on Andy Lee, on my page.
No, I have your page right here.
Huh?
Your page is right. I have the iPad and Andy Lee, and you right here.
The
wording is still here. You want to read some out? The last time somebody came in, I don't see a time there, but I see a person name is Lancey. Real Lancey. You read that already?
What was the comment? I don't remember.
I think embracing your position is a position of power. You read that already?
No, I didn't read that.
You want to go over here and
why don't you read it?
He has several things here. Open relationships. It's a lot of energy. You read that already?
Yeah, I read that one.
Okay. So the next one was
polyamorous.
Well, this is poly. Poly relationships are usually only two people, but I can't see how you would divide up the time.
I read that one.
Okay, the last one he wrote was, there's people after him too. I can't see all of them.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I think embracing your position is a position of power. Own it, love it, enjoy it, and work that SHIT.
He said, work that shit. What up, Mark or Oriano? What's going on, Arthur? Okay.
So there's other things I can't see. I can't scroll down. That people rolling on.
But yeah, again, like I said, I'm not really one for polyamorous or open relationships or, like I said, threesomes. I'm not against it. It's just that I myself can't practice that.
You're a lover.
It's not just because of that. Again, it goes back to that. Wait, no. It goes back to what Rel said about the energy. My energy is only for certain things, and I feel like to divide it more is like I can't do it because I can't see myself wanting somebody to divide themselves among me because I could be possessive, especially when it comes to sex. If
share like this.
I'll share my toys, I'll share my weed, I'll share my liquor, I'll share food. I won't share food with my plate because I made you your own plate. But when you come to me for the things, and I'm like, you finished yours, I'm like, I can't help you with that, like, cause why am I dipping into something that's supposed to be personally for me? All right, to utilize, like I said, it's just I don't know, it's just a funny thing to me about that. Like I said, I'm open to many things. Like I said, not even just the stereotypical. What up, James Atkins? Rel, you back? Yeah, my page screwed up, so I had to reboot everything. But for me, like I said, my priority is to be with one person alone, because I can only put the energy and put my best effort, my best work, my best prowess, my best me. I can only bring towards that situation with somebody who I consider my equal, and that's just the way it is, And I say that like I think somebody said to me, I remember who said it, but I'm not going to put them on the spot. But somebody told me that bottoms are going to have a hard time dealing with me. But I said, yeah, because unlike most traditional tops, I'm not just trying to fuck everything I see. Like, I have certain criteria and standards as to if I'm going to doing that kind of work, putting that kind of effort in. It has to come from someone who is different. You got to show me that you're offering me something different that I can't find out there. You know what I'm saying? Again, a relationship for me isn't just about just the love and the romance and the passionate things, because that's going to come because of me. I mean, not just because of me, because I have it, and all I need is the other person to bring it out of me. But I'm only willing to bring that if the right person exists. But oh, really? They don't think like that. Let's just say that. Then tell that to the tops that come to me. The tops, they just basically think that because I'm attractive or they find me sexually appealing, that because they have their way with other people, that, hey, they're supposed to have their way with me, and I'm supposed to be open to the idea of wanting to have sex, or let them utilize sex, or utilize my body, my mind, my effort, my time, my enjoyment to their liking, their standards, because they feel they're entitled to have somebody like me. And it's not even about having me, but having me conform to what they want me to do when it comes to sex. Bottoms are the same way too. In fact, motor bottoms are more aggressive nowadays ever than when it comes to wanting to get dick. But I would say bring it, Rel, because me and you could joust. Like I have fun with you. I actually like you. I wish if that was the case, I'm gonna be honest. If certain individuals came off the way you did, let's just say some would be a little bit more successful. The success rate would be a little bit more high. I'd be more willing and open to, you know, not being so hard all the time. But I thought being hard in this situation was actually a good thing. What up, Michael? But yeah, and there's nothing wrong with having fun, man. Like that's the idea. I feel like us as same gender loving or LGBTQ or just homosexual, when you think about it, that's the umbrella we all fall under. Um, I believe we tend to have more fun than heterosexual men. We don't take things to heart on certain levels, but then some of us could be worse in certain things. Because, and I'm not talking about just the feminine ones, because even masculine gay guys could still portray and imitate, no, imitate. Ugh, they could imitate and portray some of the characteristics and qualities of what a woman would be, or what you would expect from a woman. But who are we to limit and say what should be expected from a woman and man? We're both human beings. That at any given time, we're all capable of being. I want to say one other thing about it. At birth, a lot of us men. What up, Nicholas? Mhm. Um, Genetically, we all started life when we was a zygote or embryo. We started life as a woman before the chromosomes determined whether we're going to stay a woman or turn into a man. What up, Nicholas? Long time no see. Another Taurus brother of mine. Well, Michael says sexual energy goes in one of two directions: out through the sexual organ or up into higher energy centers. Expressing sexual energy through sex or desires dissipates this energy. More or less, there's so many ways and so many dimensions to look at it, but I couldn't agree more with what you just said, Michael. That way, I mean, it's something I knew, but I didn't have the words to describe it. But you best describe that feeling, and I definitely concur with that. What up, Kevin Campbell? Was that say Campbell? Yeah, no, Campy, no Campbell. Latanya Cleary, being hard, that's relative for me. I think being hard in your intelligence is sexy if that makes sense. You know what, Rel? Stay out of my head. What's good, Freddie Washington the third? Okay, we got a third up in the house. What? Third generation, nice. See, I like to see families that have a junior, or they keeping on the legacy of the family, the generations. I like that. Generations is definitely dope. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this going a little bit longer, but I'm probably gonna have to cut it short because I got a nasty little train ride, and it's not just that because I have something at home waiting for me. But what I would like to say was in our future, if for those who still tune in, I would like to have more fun on BU. Like I said, again, I'm gonna do my best to always come up with fun, interesting topics. No, it's always good. Like I said, that's the Brooklyn way. Brooklyn, we go hard. Um, I want to always exhibit. I want us to have fun at BU. So please, I really, really would like some of you guys to be a little bit more, interactive with things. It adds fun because of the fact that we have different mindsets and mentalities. And who knows, you could teach me something, and I don't mind learning something because the whole premise I feel for this segment or this program is to not just empower, but just enlighten people and help people understand what really goes on in our community, how we think about as how we not just how we identify, but how we do things pertaining to living our life in this particular realm or genre or however you want to call it. This is still life. I believe that sex and love is allotted to everybody. We could do whatever we want with it. Some of it comes natural versus it's a choice. And I like to say I'm a hybrid. For me, especially when it comes to same gender loving, like I said, I think in one of my topics I discussed about the three different ways as to how any man or woman could find their way, interacting or entertaining or enjoy the company of the same gender. And I'm talking about even on the sexual level, on a companionship level, on a partnership level, on a committed level. Why are we open to those things? And my point was, if it didn't come natural with certain people, don't you think God would have made it no different than he made it with animals, with things? But at least animals, when they have sex, only humans and dolphins have sex for pleasure. That's not saying animals don't get pleasure from having sex. There's a difference. We actively do it. Half the time, think about it, when we go for sex, even in the heterosexual sense, we're not having sex to make or populate the planet. We have plenty of people here. In fact, you know how many people, I heard 50,000 people die daily from hunger and starvation because there's not enough resources and food to feed the new people we keep bringing into this world. But yet, our societal standards tell us that that's the way life is. And again, that's heteronormative things. And a lot of our background when it comes to same gender loving, we tend to borrow, synapses from the heterosexual world instead of making our own or evolving it. Like, I believe even to our relationships, we hold our standards to the heteronormative ways as to how think about tops and bottoms. Now, mind you, like I said, it works in certain aspects, but then in other aspects, it really don't work for certain individuals. But yet, you would have to critique them or put them there. What up, Jonique? I was wondering when I was going to see you today. Jonique Red, okay. Because you definitely always have a lot on your mind. I like I said, the reason why I went interactive, and I know I'm a little bit all over the place. I don't know where I got this energy from. Mind you, I only have 4 hours of sleep today. And it started since I've been at work last night from 11:30 to like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and my sleep kept getting broken. So but I have a drive. I got something in me that, hey, you would think I met somebody dope and fly like myself. But what up, Freddie? I see you wave. But yes, Rel. I try my best to be sharp and keep my edge, whether I keep a diamond edge, because I am that diamond in the rough, but then I don't want to be associated with diamonds because of the unique luster or the quality of being presentable or pretty. I like diamond because it's hard and sharp. It's one of the hardest substances on the planet Earth. And yes, I want to be hard, like Rel said, sharp, not just intelligent, but I want to always stay on my game. But yes, I would like to hear more comments and feedbacks about some of the topics either I bring up or even I'll let you guys talk about those things. And who knows, I might be sitting at your show one day. I just like to hear the different perspectives and different opinions and mindsets as to how individuals think or feel about things. Because who knows, we may be talking about the same exact subject, but guess what? We may feel different, or we might have different perspectives of it. And I would like to hear different perspectives and ways of how people think about things, because it will definitely evolve my way of thinking as well. And I think we definitely need that. And again, I would like to put it out there more so that even heterosexual people can get it a little bit more better as to what really goes on in our lifestyle. And the fact that we're not different as far as being human beings. The only thing that makes us different is the choices and who we possibly could choose as our partner, who we spend our time or our life with, our lust with, our love with, our whatever it is we're looking for, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional. Like I said, I'm a demisexual and a sapiosexual, who happens to be bisexual, meaning that men and women can be my choice. But if they don't fall under the criteria of what makes a demisexual, or sapiosexual, I mean, again, I'm only attracted to those aspects of people who possess those particular type of qualities.
But why do you put those labels from probably white men who created those labels on you?
Well, if you think about it, if there's no word to identify that, so I would have to spend time telling like, oh, I like people who have intelligence, or the definition of what means a demisexual. So let's just say you have let's just say you really want me to go get it?
I never heard that term before.
I talked about it last week.
I know, and I'm still trying to figure out, what are you talking about?
Give me 1 second.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll go to a music break real quick.
Sure.
Okay, we'll go to a quick. We're going to, with my notes at, I don't have my notes. We're going to a quick music break. This is DNAradio.net, and you're listening to BU and BU Nation with your host. Okay, give us a second so I can go to the turntables.
Yo, what's up? This your boy, Because of Fields, all the way from East Atlanta, and I'm hanging out with the DNA Show live on DNAradio.net. Be sure to check out my single, Curvy, featuring my boy Brian Blaze. It's the second single off my album. I Know What I'm Doing to Tape. It's on every streaming media platform, so y'all make sure y'all add to the playlist now. Follow the app in case he feels, and follow the gang.
What up, Joel?
Yeah.
We're back live.
What's going on, Leon Good? DeVoria Williams, what's going on? All right. This is from, I believe this was last week? Yeah, because last week was the 10th, yeah. All right. Last week I talked about the different types or the different forms of sexualities.
Now this is man-made. Some white dude came up with this, I'm sure.
No. I think they came up with the words to describe it, but the definition existed. It's just that there was no word to think about it. Let's just say take out the word demisexual. Now, excluding the word, we're going to just read the definition of what means a demisexual. Now, it's just a meaning without a word to so that you hear it. For instance, think about the term fireman. We came up with fireman. How do we know what a fireman is? A fireman is a person who puts out fires. They're not a policeman. You get it? You're not going to call a fireman because somebody got raped.
What do they call the new term they use now? Because they have women in the Rockman now.
Well, no, I don't know, but I basically said that to say that
these activities existed, and these individuals put a title on top, a label on top.
Yes.
But they already existed in time.
Yes.
Okay.
We just didn't know.
I'm just opposed to the labeling. Who gives this person the authority to say this is what it's called? I mean, activity might have existed, but who gave you the authority to say this is what I'm going to call it? I coined the phrase so the whole world can say what I say. That's what I'm opposed to.
Well, it would make sense that we come up with something that we could, a system that we can agree that this is what this means. Like, who said a cat could be a cat? Why can't a cat be a zebra?
Or either tops and bottoms existed from day 3, probably, right? But somebody came up with the term, let's make life simple. It's a top.
Or who's to say that maybe a top should be the one doing the bottom job and the bottom should, they switch roles, but the title still means the same. So whatever the top would be identified with what a bottom is identified with, and vice versa.
This is my personality since probably first grade. I'm always questioning who made this stupid rule. Yeah. This is how I've always been.
I can see you causing controversy. You know what? I'm kind of right behind you on that. So I'm not going to sit there and act all innocent. I could kind of be devil's advocate too sometimes.
Questioning authority, right?
Oh yes, I still question authority. Trust me. If it don't make sense, agree with it, I'm going to question it and poke a hole in it and make you feel like, get out of here.
Right. I just can't be a sheep that, I can't be a sheep that everybody just, that the herd, I can't be part of the herd. All the sheep running down there, I just can't be part of that pack. That's all. That's only me. Sorry.
Now, I'm only going to read the 2. Like I said, I did this last week. But I'm only going to read the 2 that I feel I strongly connect with and I feel defines me in the terms of sexuality.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I chose that because when I think about it, without the names or the labels, I strongly connected with feeling those things. Now, a demisexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen in, but by no means confined to, romantic relationships. So if I don't share that connection with somebody, that I don't care how good your accolades is, how great your sex is, how good you think your ass is, or how good your stroke or your dick game is, that means nothing to me if you don't relate to having a strong connection that we can form that, Then same with goes for sapiosexual. Sapiosexual is a person who finds intelligence to be sexually attractive qualities in others, or they're turned on by intelligence via mental stimulation. So if I don't get the right mental stimulation and you don't have a certain brand of intelligence that I find admirable, besides, because I already could find I could find anybody physically and sexually attractive because there is sex appeal. But I find it more appealing when certain individuals possess these particular type of qualities. Those are the people who would get more, they would get more of a shot from me, compared to anybody else who just decides to say, oh, I like your brand. I want this flavor ice cream. Okay, well, go to the store and buy it.
Okay, so now, how would you describe this term? I'm attracted to strays. You don't need no money, no degree, no job, no nothing. I'm just attracted to strays. Is there a title for that?
To me, think about it. I think hearing attracted to strays means you can find anybody attractive. You can find a can of paint attractive.
No. It has to be a nice, fine 19, 21, 32, 37-year-old, whomever, you know what I'm saying? You're not asking for no mansion,
Or
no
their life story.
Right. You don't care about what they bring to the table.
To me,
just that,
for the fact that you put pretty, to me, then, or nice looking or attractive or this or that, again, think about a stray cat. Stray cat could be dirty or diseased or flea bitten, but they still need love. They still need a family. So would you choose a stray cat over, let me go to an animal shelter or an actual pet store and get a cat? Or let's say one of your neighbors had a cat or a dog, and they had their dog or the cat gave birth, and you would take one of the babies and stuff. That obviously the baby wouldn't be a stray because it came from a household versus you were just on the street. That, to me, that's what a stray is. But basically,
when I say stray, it's not dissing the individual.
No, I know that.
It's just that we're not asking. There's no prerequisites
again.
Well, what school did you come from?
Again,
where do you work at?
Again,
what's your bank account?
But you asked me. I'm trying to keep it basic. Basically, to me, a stray is somebody who's basically a nobody, who don't have much of going. You don't know their life. You don't know.
No, not a nobody. It's just a regular person, a regular dude that might work in McDonald's.
A nobody. I don't know who you are until you show me that you're somebody.
But I wouldn't call anybody. I wouldn't call nobody.
Again, I'm telling you what my definition of stray is.
No, this is yours. Okay.
Yes, I believe a stray is basically a nobody, somebody who you don't really care for, and they're meaning that there shouldn't be no criteria as, you gotta look like this or have that. To me, a stray means anything could go with anybody, like even a RJ or undesirable, as you would call it.
Well,
that's
I know millionaires. They're attracted to strays, but they're not attracted to RJs. They're just attracted to nice, legal age guys who do not possess a lot of wealth. They're not looking for their counterparts with wealth. We're not going to the Hamptons looking for dates. We'd rather ride around Brooklyn, Harlem, or other parts of America
and look for crumbs.
Well, we don't call them crumbs.
No, because at my point, you still want something of substance and quality, and to me, substance and quality don't come. Yes, but guess what? They don't come in the form of strays, unfortunately. Now, you can have a good moment with strays, but they're not the quality that you're actually really looking for. That you would say, hey, this would definitely get my choice. Because if that's the case, and you don't really have the offer, you just want something just for the bed, then why don't you just pick anything?
Well, that phrase came from Liberace's movie, and he's a multimillionaire in the movie, and he was saying, I can't help it. I'm attracted to strays. He didn't want other performers.
Also because stray means you don't have to put the effort and time, because it's just for the moment, or for whatever you feel like you want from the situation, and you don't have to.
Not necessarily a one-night stand, Rock. It's like,
I didn't say one-night stand. I'm talking about as far as just put the effort to have anything lasting. Like, I don't want to put the effort to get this particular type of person with. I just want to get with you for whatever reason or whatever it is I may be looking for, but not with
But it's like some people like masculine people. There's no difference. Somebody like the gym buff guys. That's their turn on. Doesn't do nothing for me. But I'm just saying, it's what's it called? Is it fantasy? Fetish.
I would say fantasy. I wouldn't say fetish. Fetish is like actually liking to do something. Like you might like to get spanked. That's a fetish.
Okay, so it's a fantasy then. Some people like the muscular guys from the gym, whereas a person like me, you might just want to stray and not asking them to show me their credit score, their bank account, or anything like that. Just be normal. Don't bring no baggage to the table, and a lot of the people we meet in clubs.
Again, strays don't possess that quality. You're asking too much from the wrong type of people. You're looking in the wrong place. You ever heard of looking for love in the wrong places?
But no, okay, I've heard that term, yes. But but I don't want to put too much out there. You can go to certain places in, let's say, New York and find a stray. But that's not a stray. That's a person that's into that lifestyle.
No.
But you can walk up and down 25th Street and meet a stray. They have a conversation. It's not dissing. When I say stray, you're not dissing.
Strays are basically saying stranger. Think about a stray cat or a stray dog. That's exactly.
I hate those analogies.
Then you can't use stray. That's what the word stray came. We put that terminology in those to represent.
Oh, you sat there with Webster and put this in the dictionary?
It's known. I mean, we learned this in school. They teach us this in school.
But I'm taking the definition from Who the guy name again? I said his name.
Liberace.
Liberace, thank you. I thought that was sort of profound for a multi-millionaire, world famous guy to say he's not attracted to Elvis Presley. He's not attracted to Frank Sinatra.
But I'm gonna tell you why, because he don't want to put the effort to get those types of people. But he's still looking for those qualities from lesser people who aren't known for that. You see what I'm saying? So you may not like to date Beyonce, but you're gonna look for a stray to have Beyonce's qualities.
No, because
You
take
like
hip hop. Take hip hop. For the most part, hip hop had their own culture. They weren't the black universities, Howard, and things like that. They were just regular guys in the streets, not doing nothing necessarily negative. It's just that's their hangout. Some people have backyards, some people have front yards, but if you're in the inner city, you have the streets to hang out. Mm-hmm. So some people just like regular guys from the streets without any type of pretentiousness.
But you're not,
I have a PhD in philosophy. They don't like that type. I know.
I still hear the same thing though, that you still want that 5-star quality in a lesser person who you may not have to put that much of an effort to get to that particular person.
But I don't see it that way. It is an easy phrase.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say because you're on the receiving end of wanting that, and you don't see it that way. Even a narcissistic dude or a cheating man still wants a quality person they could come home to that could be faithful and loyal to them, even though they're not going to be loyal and faithful to that person.
Who says a guy you meet in the street is not loyal?
I'm just giving you an example. And I mean, there's many examples. That was just the easiest one I was able to give at the top of my head. But it goes to show that people don't really want to put the quality in the things that they feel like they want. If you want those things, you got to look at that individual and where they're at. And my point is, if you're looking for these strays and stuff, they only seem to come in the ones who don't really have very much to offer somebody. And I'm talking about, let's
Except
say,
for their beautiful bodies.
That's even more reason to prove my point.
But they might even have a brain if you sit down and talk to them.
Yeah, but most people aren't interested in the brain. They're interested in, like you said, the beautiful bodies
Well,
and the aesthetics of what they could offer at that time and moment, of what it is that one. It depends on the individual and what they're looking for from that particular individual.
Okay, I've met people who did not possess. They weren't bougie. They weren't Jack and Jill. They didn't party in Fire Island, but they were decent people. And I'm using the term stray for lack of a better term, but I'm stealing it from Liberace. There's no diss when I say that. Some people call it thugs, guys in the street.
Gangsters, escorts, hustlers.
See, the escorts is a different category because they're in the business.
But it's legitimate versus hustling because
it's the same thing. I see. I mean, I don't throw stones at either one of them. I'm just saying, like a regular dude in the street, you're playing basketball, you're just hanging out, and you hold a conversation. But these people have needs.
But stray is another acronym for stranger.
Okay, I took that. I was trying to be funny by using that from Liberace. But you're taking it as a negative. And I don't.
I mean, it may sound negative, but that's what it means to me because I can't.
But you're turning it into a negative, like saying stray dogs, stray cats, and they're definitely not that.
Do you want my opinion or not? I didn't say what I said was a fact. All I said was that's how I opinion and thinks that. Like I don't want nobody to think of me as a stray. You think of me as a stray, then I'm good. I'm gone. You're not going to think of me. You're not going to limit me.
Even the strays don't think of themselves as strays. It's like wink, wink, laughing, have fun. You know what I'm saying? They don't think of I'm a stray. Nobody uses that to define themselves.
I'm going to make a special video for you. I'm
lost.
You'll get it. You'll get it quick. You might not get it now, but you'll get it.
Okay. Well, the stray is like saying roughneck, thug, b-boy, hip hopper, whatever, rapper.
But you're looking for somebody who don't have a criteria or an agenda for things. And again, these beautiful, handsome men with these bodies that you seem to like aren't coming with those qualities of doing things. Like I said,
not necessarily.
Think of the quality. But then they don't really have much to offer because then if you think about it, have you ever been against a control freak, a manipulator, a narcissist, or a selfish, self-centered, arrogant, egotistical,
well-educated?
Yeah, and they tend to be sociopaths tend to be well educated.
But the point is, I'm not turned on to that.
But you would never know it until it's too late.
Say it again.
You would never know it until it's too late.
But okay, I'm gonna stop using straight because you take it as bro. I'm saying it sounds negative probably over the radio. So forgive me. I'm not calling my beautiful black brothers strays. I was just using something from a movie by Liberace. He was talking about white boys. He wasn't even talking about black people. So I'm not gonna use that term ever again. I just like your average, beautiful, gorgeous black male, ages 18, 19, 20, 30, probably even 40 now. Some of these 40-year-olds look pretty good. So we're not asking for, oh, do you have a summer home in the Hamptons? That doesn't turn me on. Oh, you're riding around in the Bentley? I am not impressed with that.
No, but see, you going about the materialistic and the status about like, oh, I have this and I have this title and stuff, which don't mean nothing, especially in the kingdom of God. That's how I see it. But
I'm saying in terms of people who go out to a club, they're looking for Mr. Right. And Mr. Right must have a certain credit score. Mr. Right got to have a certain job title.
And that's why those people are single.
See, I don't go looking for that.
No, you don't.
Your average, beautiful black male who's not a thief, not on cocaine. You know what I'm saying? There's a regular dude.
No, but you're missing what I'm saying.
And I've had many of them in my life.
It's very few of them who, let's say, meet the standards of what you're looking for and have that class or that integrity to be some of the extra things that is normally not. So normally, this is how I see it. Dudes and women who tend to be overboard with the sexual, the glamour, being fantastic, fly, dope, swagger, bad girl.
Swagger doesn't mean negative.
Bad girl, hot girl. I'm saying, but they have these qualities, but they think that they should. They basically having those qualities. They think they have a sense of entitlement. They could treat people how they want. They could look at people less than them and think that they're beneath or be condescending, and just be a little bit full of themselves. And to me, how would I say? It kind of puts a damper on what you say you want from it, because those aren't people who are, and again, like I said, stray in the sense of.
Well, I think the way out of vocabulary. I shouldn't use that from Liberace. I just took it from a movie that was kind of cute.
No, but I'm trying to say to help you relate to you for the way you for the use that you wanted to use it, well, not my use or my definition.
Okay, well, before I even heard that word, I like that type of person. But once he said it, it made sense to me. But I'm not going to use that word again because it does sound kind of negative. And I'm putting him down, and I'm praising him more than putting him down. So I feel like that certain type of individual,
But those individuals don't possess those qualities. That's what I'm trying to say. Who's living that life? Who's making that walk? And that's something that they regularly practice. To me, those aren't quality people. They're not regular people and stuff like that. They just have clever ways of disguising the most detestable human behavior imaginable.
I disagree.
And well, you haven't met a couple of them. Like maybe, I mean, I don't want to say that, but I'm going to use a term that the world of society seems to be used to. If you were young, handsome, and pretty too, going out there, you would actually see what I see.
What do you mean?
A lot of people try to tell me that just because I look this way, that hey, you have it easy, you can meet somebody, da 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 da. No, you have no idea how screwed up many individuals are who have this. That just because they look good, what they say, not everything that glitters is gold.
Okay. I'm
sure you're familiar with that term.
Yes, sir.
And good-looking guys and girls tend to come with those things. We tend to not overlook. We let their beauty overlook their flaws and their qualities. But mind you, nobody's perfect, but you choose to behave and display yourself the way you choose to. And that could come, I want to say it's good or bad, but it's not good in the sense of if you're pursuing some type of endeavor and you're looking to be successful, I don't see very many people being successful that way, of thinking that they could look at it like, like I said last night when I was kind of doing my thing, and I'm not going to give too much of a details as to, all I can say was that like that individual I told you about, and mind you, he had this pick, in my opinion, he had this pick of the litter that he could have anybody he kind of wanted, but it's just that you had these selfish individuals. Now, mind you, I'm not going to knock people's choice and decision and say that you can't have what you want if you're not that. But then those are the type of people that complain when they don't have good people or good qualities to go to, especially when sex is lacking. And again, when you go through your dry spells, weeks and months, and mind you, I'm talking about people who are tops and bottoms respectively that have that type of sex on a daily basis, and they complain about not having a good quality. But meanwhile, you're not having a good quality, but yet you're fucking up a storm. And you're getting good quality guys, the guys you kind of want that you say you want to be, but they're lacking something, but they can't figure out. So you spend all your time looking for these looks and this and that and this stuff, and meanwhile you're missing out on some of the best things that can consistently keep you going to that source, because that's the only source that's capable of fulfilling that drive within you.
Okay. Now, your average guy in the inner city, the ghetto, whatever you call it, they're not having sex every 5 seconds.
Now, I disagree with that.
I know.
Then why do these people attack me for sex like as if I'm the last gorgeous person on earth?
Straight boys?
No, the guys in our community, say SGL.
I'm talking about the regular straight guy in the corner, or curious guy in the corner.
Some of them are for the women who are available sexually like that, and they're giving it out like that, and they don't put a criteria or onto how they have sex. Like I would say, a good-looking, sexy female that has all the credentials, not just from being a partner and a wifey material, but like she has the qualities. Like, yeah, you definitely want to have sex with her. Those type of women aren't really giving out their sex as freely as you would think they
You're talking
are.
about women, I'm talking about men.
But I'm talking about but they have to be those type of women in order for these men to have that kind of sex.
Well, I think we're going in two different directions.
But I'm going to go to the direction that you're at now to compensate, because they can't get that hot girl that they feel like they want. Now, men, because most of us tend to think without dicks. And I'm talking about heterosexual men. I'm not even going to get on the same gender loving, but the heterosexual men, they tend to think with their dick more. And guess what? They'll settle for the next. I would say the next best thing would be less than her. Let's just say she is a 9 or a 10. I see a heterosexual dudes dealing with 5s, 6s, and 7s to compensate until they can get that 9 or 10 that they really want.
So you don't think there are no virgins hanging out at age 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25?
There's a possibility, but it's a very small. Like let's just say out of 100%, I would say 13 to 18% are virgins. That's not really a big number.
But they're not. I know a few, and they're not screwing on a regular basis. They go through the motions of going, hey baby, because they're boys. They go through the motions, but they're not screwing daily. You know what I'm saying?
I think Wiz and Charms kind of said that in their show, in their last show, about when we talking about the hot girl summer and stuff. Charms conveniently forgot to mention. I mean, it's not just about living your best life and doing the things that you didn't do, because sometimes a relationship could either advance you and make you progress and do better things, or it degrades and you don't do nothing. And sometimes, for the most part, in my opinion, I think when it comes to this hot girl summer, it's basically for their ways of making up and reconciling some of the things that they dealt with when they were trying to get in relationships. So basically it's about thinking about themselves now. So now it's like, okay, let me not put the emphasis on a relationship, and let me focus on the things I didn't get a chance to do that a relationship actually held me back from. That's what I think it is. So they could kind of take liberty and take their own future in their hands. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do from this one. Instead of living this way because everybody else is doing this, I'm going to do my own thing, basically. So that's their way of trying to do some of the things that we've done. Like I said, either we did it and it left a bad mark on them, where they say, okay, I'm going to do it too, or find my own way. Either do it just as good as we do, or they do it better than we do, or they might fuck it up worse than we ever did. Let's see. Chris says, men are sexual by nature, so nowadays it doesn't really matter. You know what, Chris, my BF, you're definitely right, man. I miss you, by the way, man. I hope everything is good. You said they just want to get their nut. The unknown turns them on. There are more virgins than you know. No, trust me, I do. I only gave the number only because, let's just say, at some point in my life, I kind of fit that mold at one point. You know, I ain't gonna say when, but it's there, and it differentiates between the generations, definitely. You know, in different generations, you might have a certain more or a surplus of more, people who might be sexually active versus people who are celibate or quote unquote virgins.
I was reading about this new website. It's called freaksoncam.net. Freaksoncam.net. You must be an adult, and it's quite exciting. You might want to check it out. Freaksoncam.net.
And there's also another name they call it.
No, we'll leave it right there.
It sounds like masturbate. That's all I'm gonna say.
But no, I wouldn't. I would say go to the Freaks on Cam because that's more exciting. Thank you very much.
I agree. I agree with you. Well, you said say when? Come to New York, you'll find out.
I think people outside of New York are more freaky. We're just so busy.
No, down south boys and the Islanders, they definitely some freaks.
Yeah, but they have very little to do. I mean, in terms of they have so much time.
All right, you really want to know who else is the freakiest kind of people then? Get yourself a gamer or a nerd or somebody that's into sci-fi. They think about nothing but sex.
I know a friend of mine, his name is FG. Want to meet him? That's big. Esports is huge. I'm just so happy that these gamers now can make money, career doing it. That kid, he won like $3 million. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't do it.
Kid had the championship.
Oh yeah, those championships. But those are. I mean, I'm a gamer, but I'm not on their level. They're on a whole different level. Like,
but you could be if you wanted to.
I would have to really give up my life. I would have to give up my social life, but I like social life, and I like occasionally having sex too. Those guys, though, I can't say all of them, but I think a majority of them are the real deal.
In their whole life doing that. Well,
because they socially awkward, or they don't know how to communicate or interact or relate to people to be like that, unless it's the people of their own kind.
But you don't have to be a gamer to not know how to react and relate to people. You don't have to be a gamer. You have to be a regular person. You know what I'm saying? Like you're an idiot in the White House. No,
but I'm saying the reason why certain gamers are socially awkward and they would prefer, because at least in the game you could be anybody you want, just like the internet. I don't have to be this. Like, I'm proud to be this, so I'm not ashamed to do that. But let's just say if I wasn't.
I'm not looking at a catfish.
No, I'm the real deal. I'm the
Avatar.
I'm the
Avatar. Avatar. Is that Avatar?
Nope.
Is that real? I'm looking at it. Gorgeous fine man right in front of me.
It's the real deal. Now I can show you an avatar.
You have an avatar of yourself?
Yeah, I do. I actually made one the other day. No, unfortunately, it's not.
Well,
Well, if it's my avatar, let's say my avatar is going to have every representation of what I embody. So.
Now, are you a grower or just hangs?
I could be a both. It depends on.
You control that?
Not really. It has a mind of its own.
Good answer. I like it. Well, I invented this esport game.
You look like you came from Brooklyn. You look like a Brooklyner. A Brooklynite.
What does a Brooklyn look like?
It's just a feel and a vibe you could get when you could tell when certain people come from a place that's very familiar to you. I consider Brooklyn my home, and when I look at Rel and I look at his picture, he looked like somebody who, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this dude once lived on my block. Like, he reminds me of something close to home, something familiar.
So you're originally from Brooklyn or from Philly?
Originally from Brooklyn.
So that 11 households from Brooklyn?
Oh no, that was when I was adopted in my home in Long Island.
Okay, so you lived in Philly, Brooklyn, Long Island.
Brooklyn, Long Island, Jersey, Baltimore. I've been all over. Okay. I mean, just the East Coast. I've never been to Midwest or like the West Coast yet, but.
Interesting.
Anyway,
this is BU and BU Nation with Rockman on DNAradio.net. We're a little overtime, just talking about different topics. You want to run across those topics one more time?
Yes. All right. This topic today was about one-night stands, no strings attached, open relationships.
Is that two? One-night stands is one?
It's basically like one-night stands
/ no string attached?
Basically, that's what one-night stands is. Like, because it's only for that one night, so there's no strings attached. There's no rules that.
So TMI, you in favor of that? Or not in favor?
Not at all.
Okay, that's good.
No.
We both agree.
Yeah. When I was younger, I didn't care because I didn't have a criteria and I didn't know what I wanted and who I was. Now that that's established, I can't go back to the old me now. So I have to be the more improved, evolved version of me.
Was that a big deal in your life? The one night stands at one time?
At a certain point, it started getting to me because I said, "What the fuck? Like, I deserve like, especially if the sex is good. Like, I wanted again another time, but that person sometimes they weren't ready for many reasons, as well as it also being their choice. And the only reason why I would consider certain one night stand on my behalf is if the sex is bad. And obviously, I don't want to see that person again. I mean, it's hard to be friends with people who you feel you had bad sex with, and because they still might want to and they might still try to pursue things, and I feel uncomfortable with somebody trying to approach me with sex because the energy is not there, meaning that if they didn't try to pursue it and it wasn't something they want, I would never pursue it.
So you don't have any platonic gay friends?
Unfortunately, no.
So all your same-loving LGBTQ gay friends are playmates?
I don't even have that many friends, to be honest. I mean, because I don't. I'm not one to throw the term friends and love around loose. Like people, like to me, if I say somebody's my friend, trust me, they're my friend.
So,
But in gay terms, when they say friend, they're like, ooh, friend doesn't mean I had sex with them and had some kind of sexual attraction at one point. Sometimes I genuinely could say I could be this person's friend and not think about, I'm curious. When I was younger, I did it, but I learned to grow out of it because when I wanted a real friend, I wanted the satisfaction of knowing that somebody could be my friend and not quote unquote side with me to try to get something favorable. Like when I fuck up or I'm not on point or at 100% with certain things, I need you to tell me about myself because I'm not going to allow you to train wreck me and make me go further into things because I'm the type of person, like once I wreck and nobody corrects me about it so I could correct it and make it better, I'm the type of person where once certain things go on, I'm used to that. That becomes the standard for me until it's corrected. So you got to correct it in the right stage, the infancy stage, before it gets deeper. Because the deeper
it
gets,
like browbeating. You say you told the guy 5 times and he still doing the same thing over and over again. And when does it stop being a browbeating? Mm-hmm. Or they just stubborn and going to do it their way regardless.
I'm starting to learn that there are people, and I'm a stubborn breed, but I'm not unreasonably stubborn, and I'm naturally hard-headed. That's the way of a Taurus. But you gotta give us the reason. I feel I tend to be that on legitimate things, but outside of that, I'm not as stubborn. I'm more reasonable because I rather get things done than you to think of like, oh, I had an unpleasant moment with him, or he's this, or he's difficult, he's hard. No, I'm not difficult. If you could get past my stubborn ways, you'll see that there's bliss, there's sunshine, there's more than just hope. There's a whole bunch of good things that people wouldn't see because on the surface, that one thing stops them from having what they feel they want out of me.
Most people misread you. They look at you and say, oh, he's one of those.
Yeah, I've heard that quite. I've heard what you just said. I've heard that quite a few times, actually.
And then when they get to know you, it's a different story.
Yeah, I had some dude tell me like I was so I wasn't what he expected. Like he thought that because I dressed in the way I carried myself. Yeah, basically he didn't think I had all those accolades or credentials to be, I won't say marketable, but I had.
But that's what I'm saying.
Presentable, yeah.
Just because a person looks like a thug, B-boy, whatever the terms they use.
I might just like the style and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I know I got swagger and I definitely got something that you could say in the 90s I have game, but my game is only realized or utilized when I'm matched, and that's my equal. Because then I don't mind putting the necessary effort in. But if I have to go beyond the Call of Duty and go beyond that more, and I don't care who you are as an individual. This is why I say I prefer mutual rapport with somebody versus is one-sided where you like me more than I like you, or I like you more than you like me. Those situations never work out because that person to me is like somebody has the power, and I'm not trying to boost somebody's ego in a power trip because they want certain things that, hey, yeah, my nephew hating. Happy Leo season, by the way, and happy belated birthday again.
Is Leo starting right?
Yeah, we've been in Leos. We're about to hit Virgo now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in Virgo.
Well,
yeah. See, I expect my nephew to say, and mind you, I love my nephew to death. But yeah, I'm gonna go on what he said. Here we go. You only saying that right now because guess what? You're the sun. You shine bright. You think you're the center of things.
Who's saying this?
My nephew.
Oh.
No, and I'm telling him about himself. And I just like how he likes to go back and forth with me. He's like, yo, we need to stop that or that. No, I won't. If I have greatness and people pursuing me, I must be doing something right. Because here's my point: if I was like everybody else, I don't think anybody would pursue me the way they pursue me or so interested in me.
Is it pursuing you sexually or otherwise?
Everything from A to Z. You know, but I think a lot, according to our lifestyle, same gender loving, homosexual, or LGBTQ, we tend to, and again, we're men, and I think men are like that regardless if we're heterosexual or same gender loving. We tend to like to know that we have control over certain things, especially when it comes to sex and the laws of attraction. And we're dominant people, and what more better is there, or what greater thing is there to achieve in life in this world than to dominate the indomitable or somebody who's equally as dominating as you? Because if you know you could get your way with somebody and do what you want, it's like, I'm bored of that. I don't want that. Because it's easy. You can do anything you want. It's there. It's willing. It's receptive. They don't have a mind. They don't have no will. They don't have no what they call resistance. I think that's what men get about. It's resistance. The resistance. Remember, no, 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 no means yes, 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 yes to them. It means try harder. And even women get off on the fact of if you kick game, you spit game to a girl, a chick, a female, and it can be so good. And you can say the right thing, spot on, everything like, oh, this nigga got swag. Easy. Okay, I want to see how good his game is. I want him to spit a different game. I want to spit 3 or 4 different games before I give him a favorable response or let him know that, he's getting into that thing. Yeah, I feel like women should only make a man work for sex. Don't make him work to try to spend time with you, get to know you, that, because then if you do, that man changes. And I'm a prime example. I'm only speaking for myself, but I believe most of us are, hardwired for that. I feel like if I have to work and I'm legitimately trying to show you, hey, because I want it to be an equal thing for the both of us. It's supposed to be something that we both supposed to get enjoyment from. And this is before I even think about the sex, because sex is supposed to be a two-way street. It's the same thing. I shouldn't be the only one here wanting sex, because if it is, then guess what? I'm going to adjust to your level, not because I have to, but because I want to show you that, hey, I have more on my mind than just sex. I can spend time and get to know you and do that. But to me, if you think about friend zoning me and thinking that you're going to play me by utilizing my time, but meanwhile, you're going to entertain something else because I didn't move according to what you did. But then guess what? You didn't move according to the way I wanted you to move. So guess what? Now I'm going to move different and you're going to see it. And I feel like if I have to put any effort and money, this is for anybody, but mostly women. If I had to put more of an effort and my effort wasn't good enough, again, not only would you lose me, but if I do somehow get you, don't expect much from me. My what I would want from you would probably be more or less on the sex, because I feel like, and this is why I feel like most men are sexually driven, because we have to work so hard to be legitimate, to get a chance to exist in your world, in your life, to get acknowledged, to even get a word in edgewise. Why should I have, all that effort and work? I'm not putting the effort to try to show you. I'm trying to, I'll put in enough to make you think that, to keep you there, to get what I want from you, because that's basically what you're going to be utilized for, to be what I feel I want, because I work hard, and my reward is I'm going to get that.
Interesting. So in your relationships, are your partners as deep when it comes to like how you express your need for love and companionship? Is it a conversation like that back and forth?
Not really. So with some, with my later ones, I would say I've only been in one relationship after I turned 25.
Okay.
But meanwhile, I had 7 relationships before I turned 25.
So was there a constant conversation like you're doing now?
Those guys, those 7 before I was 25, we didn't resonate. We just did the traditional, like, I like you, we're dating, we're in a relationship. And it wasn't really much of the talk. Like, I'm gonna be honest, more than half of them, we never really had sex. The most we did was they had to suck my dick. We made out, we kissed and stuff. We dated. People knew that we were in a relationship, but we didn't really live the dream. And I know that a lot of people are cringing, like, what the fuck? Like, what is this nigga saying? Like, no, but the real case in point was because either they were limited to what they wanted and how they perceived it, or they just
Was it because you guys didn't have your own place at the time?
Not even that. Some of them they did. Some of them I lived with them, and there was one of them, the Libra I told you about. He lived with me because he pushed me to get my own, and I didn't even know I was capable of getting my own at that time. But he showed me that I could. He was the only one that actually stayed with me, but the other ones I kind of more or less stayed with them because they had their own shit or whatever. And they preferred it that way. And to me, the reason why I think our relationship fails is because they didn't take into consideration that I still think with a heterosexual mindset. That's not saying that I treat the men I deal with like they're women. No, I know the difference between men and the women. But that's not saying that the same thing that you could unearth or, achieve with being with a woman that you can't achieve that with a man, but two men can achieve the same goal and satisfaction as to getting that thing and be productive. Like I saw a saying the other day. They said, why is it that heterosexual men seem to be more successful in relationships than gay or LGBTQ men? Their relationship
That's very true.
I think to a degree it is. To a certain degree. No. I know that there are situations where that I see, same gender loving relationships work, but they're more dysfunctional than they aren't. And I'm not even going by my personal experience. I actually see my friends had these types of situations. My friends and my associates have dealt with the side of the face that I hope I would never, ever have to do. I've dealt with tits and bits about those things. And it was only because I had my stubbornness and my tenacity to kind of deviate from that path. And because I didn't think being with men wasn't the way I feel most gay men want to be with men. The only thing we have in common is that we like men, or men could be our choice. But how we see ourselves with men, the type of man we want to be, and how we see men supposed to be with us, I don't have that same vision of dealing with men. I'm not driven or drawn to men the way those particular men are. Again, that's not saying that I'm better or they're better, I'm worse or they're worse. All that says is that we're different. We have a different criteria, we have a different protocol that works. What works for me would never work for another man.
Have you gone in your relationships? Have you gone to the movies with another man?
Yeah.
Have you gone on picnics with another man? Just do it.
I think we did something picnic-like, but not an actual traditional picnic. Like we got the blanket, went to a park, and sat down, and I didn't do that. But we did something picnic like that. I guess it would be on par with what a picnic is.
Well, you did go to a movie.
Yeah, walk on the beach, go to amusement parks. We did everything that you could think of dating traditionally, the same way women do. The way you do with a man goes with a woman. And like, mind you, the hierarchy isn't like, if I'm with a dude, he has to be this or be like a girl, da 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 da. No, why can't two men be just two men together?
Exactly, that's what BU is all about. I think that's what BU is all about for the most part. Just BU. All
right, I think SGL thinks about that, but LGBTQ, I don't think they think along the lines of that.
Especially the Q. Well, I mean, we're not throwing stones. It's just that. Well, I have a deep appreciation for the LGBTQ community.
Well, they started it all, so we got to, give them credit.
Well, my generation started. Well, actually, guys older than me started it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. Now, changing topics real quick. I've noticed over the years, I lived in a black neighborhood, I lived in a black Latino neighborhood, and I've lived in, put it like this, I lived in an all-black neighborhood, I lived in a black and Puerto Rican neighborhood, and I lived in a black Dominican neighborhood. And what I noticed...
I need to go there. I love Dominicans.
Well, you missed the parade last week, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to.
Shame. Mm-hmm. So what I've noticed with the Dominican neighborhood in particular, maybe in the Puerto Rican neighborhood the same way, they don't put age as a barrier, meaning that I see men in their early 70s conversing and hanging out with guys in their 20s. And it's no big deal. It's like, these are my dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Whereas in the black community, there seems to be this separation of, let's say, 25 to 35. That's a clique. And you're not in that clique, you don't hang, that 25 to 35 don't hang out with 75-year-olds, and 75-year-olds don't hang out with 18-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? But with my observation, hanging out in the Dominican neighborhood up in Dykeman, in that area, you know what I'm saying? Washington Heights, Inwood. And I would go to the gas station to get gas. They might be cab drivers, they might be uncles and cousins or whatever the case is, but I am so impressed to see that there's no age barrier or age wall or barriers, right? Same thing, barrier? No. But I see this intermingling of the ages, and I'm so proud to see that. I'm so happy to see that. I don't see that in the black community.
But then I disagree. I disagree with that though, because I've seen it a little bit. Here's a perfect example. Me and you. How many events we went to in the beginning when I
was your employer.
But I don't.
If I was a stranger,
but I didn't look at it like
you
that.
wouldn't give me the time of day.
No, but I didn't.
That old nigga talking to me for.
But here's the thing though. I used to work for you about 10 or so 11 years ago, right? Pertaining, to certain things, and that what you just said would more highlight that aspect versus the dynamics and our relationship today. Like, for instance, when I went there because I was learning something and spending time with a friend. That's how I looked at the situation. I didn't look at it like, oh, you this old guy who just said you can't teach me. I find that we have relatable things of how we able to talk and converse about things. In fact, I look at it as equal exchange. What do you say? Each one teach one. I've taught you something just like you've taught me plenty of things.
Right. And I never looked at you as an age thing. He's like, you're my brother. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I look at it.
I was hoping for lover, but
oh, wait, you think I was gonna replace your old Taurus plan? You should have met me earlier.
I'm joking. I get silly sometimes. No, I'm just saying in terms of I never saw you as an age thing. He's only 25, and I'm his grandpa. You know what I'm saying? I never seen it like that. And even like when I say I like young guys, 18, 19, 20, I don't see myself as their grandfather. If it wasn't for FG throwing it in my face, you're their grandfather, boy.
And he has one to be talking.
Exactly. Well, if I brought him, he'd be the first one in their knee pads. I know it's TMI. Well, I'm not throwing out any names. I'm not throwing out any names. We're throwing initials, and nobody quite can't figure it out either.
But then I think certain individuals, depending on how old you get, you're gonna long for the glory days and stuff. And I get it, because even heterosexual men are there, and I think they're worse than what we could be when we get up there in age. But it goes to say, like, age ain't nothing but a number, and I feel like my advice for older gentlemen, and I say that for me because to me, age is wisdom. First of all, a lot of us young guys gotta pray to God and hope that we make it to that age, that we have something to give back and tell people, oh, when I was this, and I lived this, and share your life experience. That's testament. That's testimony right there. But like, I believe, like, if you want to be around young people, I mean, there's nothing wrong with sharing wisdom and teaching somebody about certain things, but you gotta learn how to. How would I say? I won't say adjust or adapt, but
communicate.
You gotta learn how to relate to that person, right? Like to somewhat exist in the world, but exist in the world in a way where you relating, you showing them that you can kind of be hip and get what they're going through and what their issue is.
Well, and vice versa too.
But some younger guys do that because, like, take me for example. I like dealing around older people because I like to learn things, and I take what I learn from older people and either utilize it the way it was brought to me, or I transform it to work for me. And so far that's been pretty good. This is a result or product of my what's the word? No, of me being exposed to that type of wisdom and knowledge. That you're teaching me something that I've yet to be like. I don't know what happened in 1960. I wasn't alive. So I don't have nobody to say, I walked the streets and I did this and I remember when this happened and stuff. So it'd be interesting to know that type of history. And I don't look at history in the sense like, oh, you're just some old crone and No, you lived in that. You got your hands dirty. You got into it, and I learn better with hands-on experience. So, if I can't utilize my hands, then it's gonna be very hard for me to learn. And if I can't visualize at the same time either, it's also gonna be hard for me to learn. So I gotta be able to get in there and the best way to do it is with somebody who actually lived it.
Right. Yeah, I have an appreciation just like you for history. Right. Some people might not. They see it old school, whatever. I have a high appreciation for history. I love meeting original Black Panthers and hearing their stories.
I wish I would have, because then the way you said about how you looked at them as superheroes, I would have loved to met them and see what they had to teach. Who knows? Maybe I could have been the next generation to bring a better, like a neo kind of Black Panther, but I'm not political in that sense, but I just know that just like you said, our friend Warbucks has very good ideas, and even you kind of said that to me about things about the intelligence, and some of them come from just being around the right kind of people who spark or inspire you to want to be those things, or just say, because by myself, sometimes I don't think about those ideas. Those ideas only come into fruition or realize when I'm exposed around people, and that's kind of why I like to be around people. I have a thing with manipulating and utilizing energy. So if I'm around a certain type of energy, sometimes you can expect good things or great things.
Interesting, interesting. Well, like I was saying before, and we can wrap it up in a minute, that I enjoy history and listening to quote unquote elders speak about their experiences. Then I'm saying I might be a hypocrite because let me explain why. Because throughout my whole entire life career, quote unquote, I've always hung out with younger people. For some reason, I don't know why, I didn't hang out with people my age and older. There was always people younger than me, like say 5 years younger. If I'm 15, they're 9, 10, 11, right?
I kind of was like that too, but then it changed as I got older.
I was a coach. I was a baseball coach.
You had a reason.
Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason.
For me, I was always
they
like
weren't that young. Like I said, let me stand corrected. I might have been 18 and they're 16, 14, 17. That's more appropriate. Not appropriate, that's more accurate.
Listen, when I was 16 and 17, I was hanging out with 21, 26, 27-year-olds. I remember going to a rave.
I wasn't invited. See? I wasn't invited.
I didn't know you at that time.
No, not you. I was never cool or hip enough to be in those circles. I was a little nerdy kid.
I mean, I was, and I came from that way. No, I wasn't always like this. Like, it took me till I was like at least 16 to 17 to truly come out of my shell. Before, when I was a kid, I was like indoor. I was really one of those geeky people, read books and into science and doing projects, making electromagnets and shit. Like, I was one of those. Listen, I feel like I gave the meaning to what Steve Urkel was wearing the glasses. Did I do that? Yes, I felt like that. They got that idea because they saw me like, look at this cornball, like look at this corny ass nigga, like he ain't getting no girls. Like, I used to think that's why people thought about me, but I think I had more accolades when I was like in elementary school versus when I was in like junior high and high school. In junior high and high school, I felt like I was just average. I was just there, but I wasn't there.
I you said that in terms of he ain't getting no girls. That's what it was, I think, because the older guys would have girlfriends, and I know I wasn't interested in girls. So why am I hanging out with these guys? You know, when I was growing up, gay wasn't even invented yet.
You missed out. They might have quote unquote all these girls and stuff, but guess what? They were looking for somebody like you to be around, and at the end, they probably would have gave you a little sample of,
whatever, right?
You never know. I mean, granted, I see you missed out a whole when it came to that, and now you're kind of paying for it now because now you want it more than ever.
Well, it's not necessarily wanting it, whatever it is.
Or at least experience it a little bit.
I enjoy the company of certain people. You know what I'm saying? I just enjoy the company. And maybe because as a teacher, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy teaching and try to tell people, here's the path to success. Just follow me. Trust me. Have some faith. I can show you how to avoid all these mines. What do you call it? Mines? In the war, they have those.
Oh, landmines.
Landmines. Thank you. So I can help avoid those. I can show you how to avoid those things. As opposed to falling in the trap.
That's kind of why I like to give back. Like I said, me being a hybrid, like I had my pockets where I hung out and it was only because I used to babysit my next door neighbors' kids, and mind you, they were kids younger than me, not by much. I was like I think the oldest one, I was at least like 4 or 5 years older than him. And then the brother, I was 8 years older than him because he was born in 90. But they looked up to me like the older brother they never had. Mind you, they were white kids. They were white kids. They looked up to me. I made them behave. And
why do you whisper when you say white kid? Why do you whisper?
Like, because people find it funny and odd that even certain white people could actually look up to us.
Oh no! This is my observation and my theory. From age 10 to about age 18, white kids want to be black. They want to be cool. They want to be sports. They want to be us. But something happens when they go to college. Something happens. Whereas,
very few of them keep that though.
Right.
Very
That's
few.
what I'm saying. When they go to college, they're taught, oh, if you hang around those black folks, who are more talented than you, they will get all the jobs. So you better make sure you distance yourself, because otherwise you'll never be their equal. You know what I'm saying? So you better always pretend you're better, because if you stay with them, you'll see you can never be as good as them. That's how I've observed this over the years.
But even the ones that do make it to adult life,
no, that's white people telling white people they'll never be as good as us, because they know we're better.
No, and I can see why they would have that, and why they like you said, they distance themselves, and they're not as good as a friend as they was when they were in their youth and their childhood. Yeah, no,
so
but
self-preservation.
But not all of them. Like, for instance, one of my childhood friends is still like the same day as if he don't live in Florida. We never, separate and move. Like, the distance when we talk, I swear I feel like we're 14 again.
Is he someone of stature and wealth?
I would say more or less. I never looked at it like that.
No, I'm saying that's where the separation comes from. Okay, I can't hang out with you no more. I'm
no, but that's the thing.
CEO or whatever.
Like, he never looked at it. Like, in fact, I think because of the dynamics of our friendship, I was, like I said, I had a tendency of befriending the underdogs, the unpopular kids, the people who would be quote unquote like blacklisted, like, oh, don't talk to them, or nobody talks to them, or they this or they that, and like, no, I see them as regular human beings too. In fact, some of them gave me the best time I had in my childhood, because I was an orphan. I was a strange kid that didn't have a family, and those friends made me want to be their strength in God, and help be the things that I didn't feel that I had, and in turn they became that for me. So they kept me with an open mind and open heart to be, to not look at things in a bad way, and that like, and then to be the stereotype of what you just said. Like, yeah, I believe that there is a vast majority of those particular ones versus the ones who actually never forgot their roots, and they still stayed true to the game about being who they were from the first day you met you to even current day. There's very few of them that still follow that and have that belief in their heart that they just say, hey, yo, this is who I am. Like, let's just say the person I've been since I'll say 23.
Mm-hmm.
Since 23 to now, I say more or less I was the same way. And then even some of the things I've been as a child, that people who knew me in childhood could say that, you know what, virtually hardly anything changed about you. The only thing I did was get older, got wiser, got a little bit of, facial hair and stuff. But virtually to my core, I'm still the same person. That even when I become 80 and life might have changed many of people, they can still come back to me and see the same thing, that at the end of the day, I'll be that beacon, that reminder of not just who I was, but I also remind you of who you were.
Interesting. Can I tell a little sidebar story? Another one, DNA. This is a true story. The year is 2000, right? Now, I've been out of the game since 92, so that's 8 years. So I'm out of the game, not on radio, not in the record business, from 92 to 2000, doing other business ventures, right? So I'm getting back into the game, supposedly, right, in 2000, and I go to one of my nephew's associates' offices in Midtown Manhattan. So I go upstairs, I get buzzed in the door. I go upstairs to the office. I talk to the receptionist. I said, oh, how you doing? I have an appointment to see Mr. A. I won't call his name. I'm here to see Mr. A, right? And he said, well, who's here? I said, this is DNA. Look, DNA. Why is this little white name? His name, I'll say his name. I'm impressed with him. His name was Brandon, right? He says, DNA. Yeah, your voice. Your DNA for the radio station. Your DNA. I'm going, yeah, I'm DNA. I'm off the scene for 8 years. No black person has ever even acknowledged me. To most black people, I'm washed up, I'm finished, I'm through, I'm a has-been, because I'm off the scene. And then I walk into this office.
They're looking for status, that's why.
Right. Richard Roseworth, Richard Bentley, Richard Manson. And here's a white dude named Brandon. Hi, Brandon. And he goes like, you're DNA. I've been listening to you since I was like 13 years old. So I'm like, wow, I don't get this from black people. And here's a white dude who was like so
acknowledge you, pay you credentials, yeah.
And I was like, wow. I said, that was like, you made my whole decade. You know what I'm saying? The 8 years I was off the scene, even when I was on the scene, nobody acknowledged me like that. When I was doing stuff. And now I'm off the scene. I pop up to go to a meeting, and this is the welcome I get. I was like so touched. And what's up, Brandon? And I appreciate that. And another little sidebar, this guy was named Jason from Jersey. We speak from time to time. And I've known him since he was like 15 years old. He used to listen to our radio show.
Sneak.
Yeah, he goes to his late night, you know, and he used to sneak in his bed. He told me the stories years later. I was in his room, so I wouldn't know. He told me the stories. He used to sneak and listen to our radio show because it's late night, and he's young. So, and he's white, and he's listening to rap music. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to rock and roll, he's listening to rap. So he was telling me another one who was so impressed to meet me. But you know, years like me, I guess when they get older, I shouldn't blame them. I shouldn't accuse them. But I'm assuming when they get older, they might lose that. You know, because like an athlete when you're young, Willie Mays, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But when they get older, he's a regular guy like me. You know what I'm saying? But I was that's how many years ago? 2009, 19 years ago.
Wow.
That's right, 19 years, right? 19 years ago. So whatever age he was when I met him at the front desk, he might have been, let's say, 20. So that's 20. He's 40 years old now. So I'm sure it won't be the same type of welcome because I got kids, I'm married, so I can't be.
Some people change for the better, some people change for the worse.
But I had to just say that because I don't know why, but something you said sparked that for me. It sparked me bring that little story to the forefront of our listeners. But anyway, I got as much sleep as you did, probably about 5 hours max, and been setting up the studio here all day, and then we had to do 5 shows back to back. So it was good. No complaints. It's just great. It's excellent where we can control our own destiny.
It will turn out a little bit better. I mean, I kind of wish I wasn't running late, you know, with my head cut off today. But doing this show, I was surprised about not just my strength and my charisma, but like normally, like I said, I could function off for 4 hours of sleep. But when it constantly keeps getting broken, that's when I'm like, you would think that, I need a coffee because I'm jittery and I could just snap at any moment type stuff. But no, like, and mind you, it was kind of a little humid outside today too, earlier. But it's just I feel like when you're around the right kind of energy, it could compensate for what you felt like you was lacking. So when I didn't think about it, I feel like as long as I was mentally prepared for something, I could almost do anything. As long as I'm not too physically exhausted, I could do anything I wanted.
You didn't bust 8 nuts. So you have any closing remarks?
Closing remarks. Well, anyway, my closing remark would be next week. If y'all, for those who still tune in and listening, please tune in. I'm gonna try to come up with something fun that's not going to be relationship or sexual orientated. The future topics may have a little bit here and there, but I'm really going to discuss issues relating to what we deal with as same-gender loving or LGBTQ within our community, from the hatred to the misinterpretations and the misunderstandings, and maybe you guys can help me too. And we could do a collaboration on, maybe some of the culture that exists within our thing. Like I've heard of it, and I've been, I won't say recruited, but I've been invited to join houses and balls. And mind you, the 19 years I've been in this.
You don't snap the type.
No, I'm not. I'm sure that there's things I could learn to maybe understand about the culture, but for me, I feel like in order for me to truly not embrace it, but to truly appreciate it, I would actually have to identify as gay. That's how I feel. But I know that there's guys like me who's been there, but from what I've seen, those type of guys tend to be only into
Finish it,
those type of guys tend to be, more interested in the feminine, flamboyant kind of guys. And I don't knock people for the preference of what they feel like they like, but that's kind of how I feel. I'm not really a fan of like voguing and stuff like that. And the only way I feel like I would be supportive of that is, like, let's just say a friend of mine happened to be interested in that type of stuff. I would go there to support my friend because I'm a big supporter. If my friends are doing something, because my friends support me. In fact, they should think about it. A lot of my friends and my family, even people who they know that I'm bisexual, but they don't understand like how I fit on the spectrum or what goes in. So they only link to understanding what goes on in this realm is to basically they get it from me. And that's the only way I think that they would be interested to want to know or ask the question to figure out where it goes to. Other than that, if I wasn't, what's the word? I want to say if I wasn't the poster child for that, they wouldn't care. And I kind of feel more or less the same thing, happens with me. If certain people who I care about aren't invested in certain things, I'm not trying to educate myself or learn that from that realm because I don't care about that. You get what I'm saying? So if more people who I'm associated with, that's in my circle, and the people I love and I care about, they seem to do those things, then that's my cue to try to learn, okay, what is so special about that? Okay, what do you portray in this? And then when I see what you portray, again, you're a dancer. I'd rather come watch you perform and dance 'cause I'm here to support you. I'm here to watch you do your craft and, put effort in doing what you do that you love because you more or less will do the same thing for me. Like, that's how I look at it.
But see, Rock, I think that ball scene is beautiful, the houses and stuff. But
it's just not for me.
What upsets me is that they think they have to act a certain negative way to be catty, to be, they just go on.
In reality, I see, and I hate using numbers, but just the only way it could give you a scope as to what's really going on out there. I would say, in reality, I believe. I believe 54% of the people or the population or the general community are what you just said, and the other 46% or maybe even 35% at best would be the normals.
Regular people like me and you?
Yeah. And that's not saying that we're special or we're different. It's just that
I am special. Speak for yourself.
I'm in regards to the subject we're talking about. No,
God made me special.
Again, it's not for everybody. I think my whole problem or take on that is when they try to encapsulate and incorporate everybody in that. And like I said, just because we are same gender loving, we're LGBTQ, and yes, even bisexual. That's what the B is in LGBTQ. That bisexual. We all fall under the umbrella of homosexual or homosexuality. Now,
which I don't use that term ever. But go on.
I would prefer that before somebody calls me gay. To me, gay is how a homosexual individual decides to live deeper and get more involved. And that would be the cultural things of, gay life or being a homosexual. To me, in my opinion, a homosexual is just a person who engages in sexual contact with the same gender. Nothing more. Nothing.
Okay, so homosexual will be similar to same gender loving.
Basically.
As opposed to gay, whereas gay is a lifestyle, LGBTQ is a lifestyle, where homosexual, same gender loving is loving your same gender.
Yes.
Without being in a particular lifestyle and acting a certain way.
Yeah.
Oh, I act gay. There's no such thing. Well, never mind.
But again, in my closing remarks, I would say definitely stick tuned. I'm going to try my best to really have good, fun topics for us to be interactive. Hopefully, I get more feedback. And again, thank you, Marley. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Devora. Thank you, C. Marley. I just said it. Damn, my bad. Definitely thank you, Rel. Thank you, Jonique. Thank you, Warbucks. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you guys for viewing my shows. And I'm sure there's countless others.
Wiz and he chimed in, right? Wiz?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Wiz chimed in. Everybody that views on my page, everybody that chimed in on Andy Lee's page, and for our viewers on YouTube, definitely give me more feedback. And feel free to leave messages or comments either on Andy Lee's page or my own page. If you on my page, Leon Williams, that's my actual government name, but y'all can call me Rock or Rockman, don't matter. Definitely, just let me know what you think about it. If you have any ideas of what any future comments or future topics I should talk about and you want to discuss in media, give them to me. Give them to me, and I'll definitely make them come true. I'll put them on the air for you guys. I got the platform. I got the time. I'll be more than happy to do that because, like I said, this is just as much for you guys as it is for me. And we're doing this together as a family to try to help the heterosexual people understand how our community works, how we really are, how we are as individuals, and that at the end of the day, they should look at us as human beings who live a life and not this so-called lifestyle.
Should we set up an email, bu@DNAradio.net? Should be BU or should be Rockman? Which one do you prefer?
I prefer BU.
Okay, bu@DNAradio.net and the email. Okay. It's not established yet. We're going to work on it without.
No, perfect. We're going to make it go. Thank you, Val. Thank you, man. And I'm hoping to look forward to going back and forth because you see, you're intriguing. So far, you mentally got me there. So there may be a chance for whatever you requested, especially what you said last time. So, and being that you're from Brooklyn, that's a plus. That's a plus in my book.
That personally suggested last time.
Now it was more of a general thing. He just said something in the realms of like, advocating for the bottoms, basically about how we gotta find a way to get his ass. Now I remember that because I thought that comment just stuck with me, and I think it was in a good way about my preference and my stance, how I do basically how I move would mean that most bottoms wouldn't get this satisfaction from me.
Well, we here at GU and BU Nation, we appreciate and love all our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ, SGL, same gender loving gay community. We love you all, tops, bottoms, verse, whatever. But everybody does have their preferences. But we don't discriminate. We don't throw stones. We love you all. Now that thing I gave to you on the iPad, you feel like reading that?
Sure. All right, the last one. All right, this says it must read. How many things
come to the mic, please.
All right. How many things on this list are holding you back in life and in your business success? All right, there's 18 things that could be holding you back at any given time. These 18 things are, we got fear.
No, but number one.
All right. Number one, we have fear. Number two, pride. Number three, booze. Number four, inaction. That's pretty interesting. Number five, self-pity. Number six, no goals. Number seven, just plain old being lazy. Number eight, bad habits. Number nine, not focusing. Number 10, unambitious. Excuse me. Number 11, overthinking. Number 12, complaining. Number 13, no discipline. 14, lack of sleep. 15, resentments. 16, not exercising. 17, negative mindsets. And last but not least, number 18, there's no morning routine. Now, at any given time, these could be the very things that could hold any individual back from being successful or living the life you feel you're destined to live, or that's really right for you.
Yeah, some of those things I had to be true to myself. I had about 5 of those things on it for me.
No, I noticed that because I was like, wait, some of these look like, because I remember you kind of asked me to do certain things like that. I was like, wait, some of these seems like my words. But then I could see.
Well, no, I got it off social media. Did you put it there?
No, you asked me to do something as to what could make somebody maybe not be successful or pursue certain dreams. Yeah, and some of these are some of the things that I did. A lot of things, especially the overthinking. No,
I'm guilty of that.
Look, welcome to the club. I'm kind of one of those too. But let's say if I look at my stubbornness as a good and a bad thing. Sometimes it serves its purpose and it helped me not just protect myself, but it helped me do things like, I'm not moving in this direction. This doesn't make sense. And I'm glad I stood still long enough to hold my ground to see it, because I watched shit fuck up and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I didn't take that next step forward, because if I did, I would have been included in that fuck up. And I didn't want to be included in that. Because again, when you invest the energy in something, you can't take it back.
True indeed. Is this TMI? Should we play around with the numbers and see which one apply to us, or is TMI?
I don't mind. Well, we give these.
Number one. What's number one?
Fear.
Nah, that doesn't apply to me.
No, me neither.
What's number 2?
Pride.
Guilty as charged.
Not me. I'm not an overly prideful person, but that's not saying I don't have pride. I feel I tend to have pride in the right things that tend to, let's just say, don't blip on the radar scale for most people. So I guess if it doesn't blip, then I guess it doesn't apply.
Well, see, with me, Rock, is that it's self-confidence, and people perceive it as too much pride, arrogant. So I say guilty as charged, but you
guys are arrogant. Leos are prideful. Leos have way worse pride than you, but arrogance and pride kind of work hand in hand. But since you're Aries and you're a fire sign, and Leo is fire as well,
we were best friends, me and my friend. Let's play baseball together. Both
I see. Birds with feathers burn together.
I don't like that burn together. I
only say because they're fire. I burn with different.
I know. Like Was there some superhero with fire?
Superhero with fire.
The cartoon character. Flame Man or something?
A superhero with fire powers?
But they were like Flame Man or something. I don't know. I don't watch cartoons, but anyway. So I say it's self-confidence, but the world perceives it as pride. Go ahead. That was what number?
That was number 2.
Number 3 is
booze.
No.
Nope. I drink, but I very rarely have a drink, and that never stopped me from pursuing things I was,
That's all drunks say. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, and Sagittarius is the last fire sign. That's correct, bro. And okay, inaction. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, you're right. The fire guy that show was the Human Torch.
There you go. Yeah,
yes.
I don't know what I think I've seen it once or twice.
Fantastic Four is a superhero from New York, and you better know superheroes from New York because this is our city. Wow. We have the greatest superheroes as far as fiction goes.
I didn't even know they were from New York. I didn't know they had a place of business.
Spider-Man is from New York. The X-Men are from New York. The Ghostbusters are from New York. The Super Mario Brothers are from New York. Who else was?
It's not my generation, so sorry. So what was the next number, please?
Number 4, inaction.
Yeah, like I said, I think I have a tendency of overworking it and doing too much. I spread myself too thin.
Now, what does inaction mean? I'm thinking that maybe you just don't take action.
Well, this is how I'm interpreting it. Is that I have so much on my plate, before you know it, I'm not doing nothing because I'm trying to do too much. You know what I'm saying?
There's a different word. Maybe you're trying to
spread myself too thin.
That, or because you want to do so much, you tend to overcompensate because you want to do so much at the same time. So you make up for it by saying, if I could complete this, then I'm good. I think your goal is to complete as many tasks as possible.
Well, and I believe in diversifying. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. So that might be, what was that number again?
That was number 4, inaction.
So I don't think it's really, I'm not guilty of inaction. I just might be doing too much and sometimes I procrastinate. Maybe.
Now, only because maybe I'm not sure as to what inaction means, but just because it has action and in the beginning of every word means anti or against.
Or not executing.
Yes.
You have all these plans, you're not executing.
I don't believe that I have inaction, but I do believe that I tend to procrastinate, and sometimes I do things at the last moment. I am guilty of that.
Okay. What's the next one?
We got self-pity. No, I don't feel bad about myself. I don't.
Well, I don't think it's self-pity. It's about talking about the past. I call it talking about history. I think I said I'm explaining history. I don't see it as self-pity or saying coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's just this is what the past was. It's history.
I don't. I look at the past as far as to learn and try to make better choices in the future, because they say if you don't learn from your past history, you're doomed to repeat itself.
Exactly. So.
But I won't cry over spilled milk. Now, if I see certain things, and I'll try to, I try not to salvage, because I realize salvaging is not that good. But sometimes it's good to try to salvage certain things in situations. But for the most part, if I see certain things, especially if I deem it a lost cause or it's hopeless, rather than cry over spilled milk, I'll go to the refrigerator and get me another glass.
Well, that was the last guess.
Oh, let's buy a new one. Guess what? I got a cow out farm, and she's full of milk all the time.
There you go.
Number 6, no goals.
I have too many goals.
I think when I was younger, I didn't have very many goals because I didn't know what to look for. But as I got older, some of those goals became more. They took shape. They took form. So I was able to see them. They just existed. They were viscous. There was a cloud, so I couldn't see them clearly. But now, those clouds became low-hanging fruit, and I was able to see it.
Were they cumulus nimbus?
Cumulus nimbus, stratus. I mean, hey.
What's that one?
All right, we have being lazy.
Nah, no way. No. Maybe lack of energy sometimes, because you're doing so much, you just get drained, and you're like.
Now that's a good point, because I used to think I was lazy, and as a kid, I was told I was lazy, but then I realized it. I don't think I was lazy. I look at it as it didn't provide the correct challenge for me to get involved, to be enthused, to show you that, hey, I could take an interest in, or better yet, I could take charge. I need the right things to be in line in order for me to, kind of separate so you can see there's a difference between being lazy versus, I'm waiting for the right opportunity to say, hey, not only do I see me doing this, but I'm writing the book now. I need a challenge. Tauruses, we like challenges. If I don't get the right challenge, I'm not going to be enthused. Like, half the time in school, I didn't have to study for tests. And I'm not saying I was an A student, because I wasn't. But guess what? I didn't have to study, and I got good grades almost as if I was an A student. In fact, sometimes I did better than A students, because my gift was I had a tendency of knowing how to remember things word for word at times. Sometimes I was able to quote things, whether it was history, things in science, or even mathematical equations, because I like numbers. I like to count. And I had an OCD, and I still have that OCD, that if I see one of more than something, I have to count it. It's just, so I was pretty quick on numbers. I'm not as quick as I used to, but I still find ways to challenge myself that I'm still somewhat sharp. But I'm not as sharp as I was when I was younger, because when I was younger, I was presented with more challenges that made me want to stay proactive on it. Now, as an adult, because I have the freedom to do what I want, then I can say now the lazy thing kind of applies to me, but only because I don't get the right challenge.
Well, it's not going to come to you on a silver platter. Make your own challenge sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Life is already challenging. I let life provide the challenges for me.
Well, with me, I don't, how do I say it? I don't need nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door and I'll get it myself. That's how I live. That's from James Brown.
I like that.
Yeah, since I heard that from James Brown, I don't need anybody to give me nothing. Open the door, I'll get it myself. I've lived my whole life that way. So I say I don't need to beg for nothing. Just get out of my way.
I don't mind asking for help, but guess what?
I'm not too smart. That's my problem. I'm not smart like you to ask for help. That's
no.
What am I down?
It's just you got to know when you need help, because there's a difference. I'm one of those people. I don't mind trying things on my own. In fact, I'll try to see what I can do, because I like to see what my strength can do. What can I do by myself with my own strength and my own merit before I decide to say, hey, look, I need your help.
But who do you at your age, at my age? Where do I go to get help? I've been to many.
Who's close to you? Your circle, the people that's in your circle that's supposed to be your support system. They're supposed to be the ones who help.
I've been to many bankers, investors.
Now you're talking about financial. They're not your friend.
Well, I'm too.
You know what? That silence right there, I love that. When you did that, you knew it. It took you. You thought he's like, he's right. They're not your friends.
It was business. I didn't ask them to.
Even in business, you don't have friends unless you started a business.
Why are you a banker then if you can't give a person a business loan? Isn't that your job to give out loans?
Yeah, but it's their job to try to talk you out of not getting, or give you a reason why they can't give you a loan.
Or either just hide from you and never give you an answer.
Or they don't.
I won't call out the bank.
They don't tell you.
The bank and the bank if I want.
Don't call nobody on it. Don't make enemies.
Okay, go on, please.
Number 8, bad habits.
Nah, not really. I don't think so.
My bad habits never stopped me from being successful, but I have bad habits in other areas that weren't infringing on success.
You chase fast women and fast men.
Nope, I'd rather drive in a fast car or boat. Number 9, not focusing. Yeah, I'm an oxymoron with
you in Warbucks. You gotta stay focused.
I have focus and I don't have focus. I do have focus, but I only have focus when the right things are there. When the right circumstances are there, trust me, you'd be like, does this kid ever slow down? Trust me, you'll say that to me when you see the right thing, when I have the right things to highlight my qualities or what I'm capable of doing.
What was that again?
Not focusing. Number 9.
Okay, halfway through. Okay.
10, unambitious.
You're too ambitious. You're arrogant. You're egotistical. That's my problem. You know? Who gave you the right to want to be a CEO?
Me. One of my greatest weapons that I have is determination. When I'm determined to do something, let's just say that's where I got the hard-headedness from. I was told that since I was a kid. I'm determined. If I see it that it's necessary to do, it's going to get done. I'm going to bring it. Even if it doesn't exist, I'm going to bring it to life.
I hear that. I was told by a sister one time, who told you can do this? I didn't ask for permission. I just did.
No, when she said it, I love that story you told me about when you got the jerseys for your team and you got better ones. When she said that, Who authorized you to do this? First of all, y'all kind of did when they made you say like, oh, we're not going to pay for uniforms. You basically say, oh, you got to kind of do it your own. The fact that she wasn't expecting you to be as successful and do better than what it, that's what blew her fucking.
But it made sense. You have all these projects and people live. There's 14 apartments on each floor. You do the math. If everybody gave us a quarter on each floor, how much money do you make? And it's 17 stories in a building. You do the math. And there's 10 buildings. Okay, we can raise $300 maybe, right?
And that's probably what you expecting. You expecting? You said you almost made $1,000 just from collecting quarters. That's
almost some of them gave dollars, $20. They understood what we were trying to do, and then they even supported us at our award ceremony. Wow. I got the videos around here somewhere. But
then why? Wait. I hope she wasn't a sister. Was she?
As black as me.
And that's the worst.
President of the 10. I could call it.
Why? Why as black people can't we be successful when somebody decides to say, "Hey, look, I have a vision. I want to do this way." Why don't
I didn't get her permission.
But it's not that you didn't get her permission. You didn't get her okay that you was able to do it. Not that's that better. Let's just say if she was the one that did the organization, guess what? Her leadership skills wouldn't have gotten you those jerseys. That was better than what they provided for the people who they sponsored.
You saw the video, right? Now the thing is, I didn't even know Marble Hill Projects had a tenant association because they didn't do anything. So I didn't even live in Marble Hill. I lived in Dykeman. But I hung out in Marble Hill, and there was a need. The kids were playing street clothes in the grass.
Street clothes?
Regular street clothes. They're playing baseball in the old grass. So I'm saying, and I come from Harlem playing baseball. I said, well, let me help these youth. And then when we pull it off, all praise to God, it's like, oh, hey, you, whatever,
No, but that's what I'm saying. Some of us black people aren't supportive when somebody could do something.
One black. I'm not gonna blame my whole entire group.
No, I'm not either. I'm only talking about the ones who's applicable, the ones who actually are doing it, the ones that we don't know, we haven't encountered doing that, and they are doing that. I'm talking about them.
And she could have been my mother. Should have been patting me on the back saying congratulations rather than tearing me down.
Yes.
I was only 19 years old. Give me a break, woman.
Only 19, but I think it's because you showcased a sense of leadership that you was able to organize, and you was very organized to do something that even if they were tasked to do it, they wouldn't have been as enthused to want to do it or make it so that you can get the jersey that you rightfully got. And mind you, y'all put the effort in, and mind you, that wasn't your goal or your dream or your ambition to get that. Y'all just wanted jerseys just to have because y'all didn't expect to do as good as you did.
Right.
And to get that, to do far better, that goes to show you that what an untrained black mind can do when they're not trained. Now imagine if they are trained. I say this is one of my goals, especially when it comes to sex or relationships. I feel like the reason why I do tend to be successful in certain things because I know a certain quality of standards of how to go or organize or facilitate that so that it would want to be the very things. And again, I'm not proud of myself, but it's a wonder that a lot of my friends come to me as if I have the answer to life or how to deal with people. No, I just know how to deal with situations that I'm involved in because I know how to deal with myself. You don't know how to deal with yourself, you can't deal with any situation. And us black people tend to forget that, but we don't know that we have that. But again, when you have an enthusiasm for things, I find it invigorating for me when I could go into any situation and I don't have to put an effort in certain things and I do fantastic. And I say to myself, that's a scary thing for me because what if I do go to that subject or that that task or that project, and I actually do put an effort in that? I'm going to do far beyond expected to the point that it's going to say like, what can I make from this when a half effort would get me better results than most people would expect? So what would they see if I actually put a full effort in something?
Exactly. My young black brother, you have a lot of potential. If I could just kidnap you for 1 year, you'd probably be a millionaire before the 1 year is over. To be continued. Proceed, please.
All right. We got, I said, overthinking is number 11, overthinking. I tend to overthink sometimes.
Yeah, that's what's procrastinating that major idea I want to do because I'm overthinking it. Like when we opened it last time, I just did it. But now I'm overthinking all the negative stuff that could happen. You know what I'm saying? The haters, the enemies, the cutthroats, the backstabbers.
But you also got to be realistic in saying of knowing the pros and cons and the ins and outs. Like, what can happen? Like,
Okay, I did that much thinking last time, it would never open.
But think about it like this. What if you're going to rob a bank?
This is only hypothetical.
Yes, that's
boys.
No, but that's my way of saying of thinking of planning and stuff like that. Like, why don't you think about that? Because then thinking about extra contingencies could actually help you. What if you didn't account for this situation or this scenario took place? Do you have a protocol for that?
Let's find a better analogy. They'll come get us. We heard you on your show talking about robbing a bank.
I'm talking about with creativeness. First of all, I mean, that's neither here nor there. But like with the technology about how it is, like trust me, I'd rather do something different than that. That's too. Been there, done that. Who hasn't done that? So they did enough thinking to know how to apprehend these types of things. But I'm talking about as far.
Rightfully so.
But I basically brought the analogy for planning. Basically, that's what I'm saying about overthinking. So it's good about if you go into a subject to try to think about as many ideas as you can to do those things to know that you could cover all ground. But then, okay, there's a reason why they call it overthinking. Thinking is not wrong. When you overly think, that's a problem.
Well, I remember Tupac said. Somebody told Tupac this. Whereas, don't fight a war without an army. So if I don't have a team on army, now that I know there's going to be a war with these enemies and haters, I know I can't fight by myself. I would need an army. I mean, I've got to hire some shooters.
You need somebody to have
hire some shooters or something.
Yes.
But what goes to the next one?
13. No, 12. Complaining. I don't see you as a complaining type.
Well, if people don't reach my standards, because I expect everybody to be equal to me, I'm not no better than nobody else.
But that's not complaining. That's called, what's the word? Addressing an issue. There's a problem and something's not right. Something has to be said. How do you know something's wrong if you don't tell them that something's wrong? So you have to address the issue. It's just that I think you're so used to people getting their feelings hurt because they're so soft and they think that you're so uptight and all this other thing. They don't see the dynamics and the reason before that. Because if that didn't exist, there would be no reason for DNA to say these things.
Right. You just do your job. Yeah.
No, but we all learned that lesson, but most of us don't pay attention. I learned this lesson when I was a child. I learned that growing up in my adult, I used to think that my parents or my guardians or, the adults in my family they were so wrong and backwards about things. But then I was a kid living under their roof, not realizing what the hell the real world had to offer. But now that I live in the real world, some of the things that I did or seen growing up and what I've learned, to be structured and a little bit more, I look back, I'm like, wow, I really wish I would have listened a little bit better than I did now. I mean, I didn't give them too much of a hard time, but I kind of, but now that I see it, you can't do what you want because the world is a cruel place. They ain't going to let you, you're not going to get away with what you got away with at home in the real world.
Did you ever want to run away?
I think every kid wanted to run away.
Yeah, I think I was like either 12 or 16. I can't remember. Yeah, I wanted to run away. Didn't know where I'm going to run to.
That's usually the case. Oh, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. You don't want me. I can make it better without you. But then, where are you going to go to?
12 years old, where you going? I think 12 or 16. I can't remember which way it was.
I bet you probably the best most kid could think of is I'll go live in my backyard, or you might live in your
I live in the projects. I had no backyard. I don't know where I was going. It was just crazy.
Number 13, no discipline. No, I'm pretty structured.
Okay. Same here. Okay.
Yeah. For the most part, I can follow anything that's given to me, especially if the person is a good organizer or a good leader. But if you're not, either I'm going to remove myself from that because I'm not going to do that, or I'll find some unique, creative way to get the job done, but do it my way. Hopefully, it's not something that's going to cause
friction.
Yeah, basically. Lack of sleep.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, that goes all to you. No, me, I get plenty of sleep. I mean, what they say, I have to get my beauty rest.
Well, you're good. There was never no hope for me.
No, not to that, but when I was younger, I used to take lots of naps because that's how it was. When you were a church-going family after Bible school, vacation Bible study, all that shit, it was nap time. That ass was going to sleep. Only because there's not so much you could do, especially with summer when we're doing things, going to amusement parks and enjoying or going traveling and stuff. But then when it's time, like when we stay in at home and doing regular things like cookouts, barbecues, like neighborhood block parties and stuff, like, or you have like if you have a tight community where people know each other, the neighbors are cool with each other and stuff like that. Sometimes your neighbor might have babysat you and watched you and stuff like that. Yeah, they put that ass to sleep sometimes because dealing with kids, especially watching 4, 5, 6, or 7 kids and other people's kids at that, it's stressful. And then the fact that you can't beat other people's kids, so the best thing to do to make kids behave is if you're good after before you take your nap and after you get your nap, I'll let you go outside and play in the sprinkler, or you can eat an icy on a hot day. You can do things like
You
that.
remember stuff like that?
Yeah, my childhood.
Well, you're still young.
Yeah, I'm not that young. I'm almost 40. When is 40 gonna? 40 was old to me at one point, but now that I'm approaching 40, I can say like I make it look good.
Interesting.
Number 7, number 15, resentments. No, resentment never infringed upon my ability to be successful. I would say it only hindered at times my connection with people. But other than that, as far as business goes, how about you?
Resentments. I mean, I think I might have given people too many chances. And see, this is the rule. If they screwed up once, forget about it. But they're gonna screw up 3, 4, 5 times, and it happens to me every time. Everybody I'll give you a second chance, give you a third chance, and it's just because it's animosity, it's jealousy, it's hatred. So you can never get rid of that. So if it happened the first time, it's gonna come back again, the second, third, fourth time, no matter how many chances you give them. So from now on, forget about it. One chance. See, who was I was talking to somebody because I believe in because I played baseball and it was 3 strikes you out. So some of my associates say you give them 1 strike, and that's it. So I think I'm going to take that philosophy now. 1 strike and you finish.
Yeah, but what if you come across somebody who legitimately just screwed up and they didn't really know?
I don't know.
See, there's a difference
That's
between.
God for wisdom. I don't know.
I mean, it takes a good person to identify that. And mind you, not a lot of us as human beings. I don't care. I say human beings. I mean, it's all. We tend to not want to do the work to identify the difference between certain things. And I said that to say this: there's a difference between, like, let's say if you did something, you wanted to surprise me, so you took the car out and you went to go fill up with gas and get it washed and cleaned. And in the process of wanting to do something nice, because that was your intention, and it wasn't nothing ill will or against you, you dinged the car. Most people will get mad at you or upset, not because the car was dinged, but because they rather take it that you meant to do it and you meant to bring harm to them and you try to play them or disrespect them. Rather take it in a negative way versus that it was a legitimate accident. And when you get behind the wheel of a car, you're automatically taking a risk. You could drive and have the best driving record, but guess what? This other idiot might come, and we live in a world where anything randomly can happen.
Exactly.
But most people don't take to learn this is why I love the word legitimate. I would get mad or upset over something depending on where I know it's coming from. Now, if I know your intention was meant to be an asshole, a dickhead, or you purposely did that and think you could get away with it, then you got me feeling the negative.
How would you know?
The negative.
I
I never assume. I'm pretty good with knowing how to utilize my feeling. Like if I'm upset about something, and I'm the type of person you say like, yo, this dude is mad at you, or he cursed you out, or he get on some violent stuff, you deserve it because this dude don't get mad. Even you see me all the time. I always have a smile on my face, and it's hard for me to be thinking. It takes a lot to get to me, but once you get to me, I can usually tell whether it was an intent versus it was legitimate and you didn't know any better. I tend to be forgiving of legitimate things of that because I search my feelings, and my feelings usually tell me. And let's just say I've been more right than I've been wrong about these things. That's not saying I haven't been wrong, because people are good manipulators or put on a good face and pretend to be something to try to mask so that you could be forgiving towards them being fucked up.
Because they got caught.
And they know you're not, and they know that, hey, this is a dangerous person because he knows his shit. So then they rather go back to try to manipulate the average person who's not as smart about knowing these things. But I learned that just from being around people. Living the life I lived as a child kind of taught me that. And I'm still learning more. That's not saying I have it all.
Hey, we never stop learning.
But I'm talking about in regards to this, though.
Oh.
Yeah, in regards to that, I'm still always changing and evolving. My aunt said it. She said, I was always afraid to bring people around you because she's like, you always knew the truth. You didn't say much, but you looked, and that look said that you knew the situation. And I didn't know those situations. But I knew the difference were whether you were saying whatever you needed to say to rock me to sleep and thinking that you tell the kid this fairy tale, he was cool with it. He went away with thinking he knew something and it wasn't the truth. But something told me like it left a hole. So when I came back to ask another question, mind you didn't know I was there. So I knew to keep quiet. So now I'm watching the situation. What you just told me was complete and utter bullshit. So I learned never to trust or listen to certain things that certain people say. And I learned what to look out for because of those things, because certain people don't want to live the truth. And living the truth or expressing the truth, it tends to put people in a vulnerable place. And as human beings, male or female, we tend to not want to feel vulnerable. So we'll try to say things or make justifications so that we spend less time dealing with the truth. Because why? We don't like to give younger people, namely children, the credibility of them coming up and thinking for themselves. Kids think for themselves, but we don't do that. We rather talk down to them than to talk to children. But as a child, the adults knew you can't talk down to me. You got to talk to Leon. You got to talk to Rock because he's not.
How many more you got?
That was resentment. 16, not exercising.
That's 16 right there?
Yep, 16 is not exercising.
Yeah, I purchased a membership in the last 5 years and haven't used it yet.
Me, the only reason why I'm kind of lazy to exercise, I feel like it's going to be too much work. First of all, I got a fast metabolism. I would literally have to eat around the clock and make a better eating schedule than what I do now. And to me, to put in that effort, don't get me wrong, the benefits, the results will definitely be phenomenal. But I feel like there's no reward besides looking good and having more people on my belt than I do. I mean, if I'm like this, I'm a slim nigga. Like, what? I feel like I draw accolades. At this point, I feel like spending time exercising in the gym would only make me kind of better as I get older, so I could be more healthy, more fit. But again, inevitably, and I'm not saying I'm looking for the aesthetics, but I just feel like it's just too much effort to put in.
Well, I would like to go to the gym just to get away from the desk. I sit behind the desk too much. And I hate to go to the gym to stay physically fit. I kind of prove nothing to nobody, nothing like that. But so if I go to the gym, when I used to go to the gym, it's like so many. If you lift weights the wrong way, it's like
you can fuck yourself up.
Right. So I'm saying, well, why are we gonna take a chance? I'm just trying to, it's crazy, and nobody wants to show you how to do nothing because they're all these guys who've been there for years, and you're supposed to know everything.
What?
I just got here.
The few times I've been to a gym, there was one time I was dating somebody back in 2005 before I went to go live in the glorious city of Atlanta. What up, Jaheem? I remember going to the gym and some of these dudes who that they spend time in the gym, they would love how to school and teach you and show you these things.
If you're a cutie like you, they tell me, Pops, you supposed to know this, so get out of the gym.
Touche, you know what? I can't. There's no rebuttal for that. So listen. I gotta tip my hat for that one. 17 negative.
You know what's so funny? I was, I think 33 or 34, and I would consider an old man in the gym. 33, 34.
I considered 30s old at one point.
I mean, the guys in the gym consider me an old man. I should know how to do all this. But they're younger than me, maybe. I don't know.
Listen, some 23-year-old told me I was old, and I was like, what? That's only because I wasn't ashamed to tell them I was 36, and this was last year when I went to Philly to go visit my brother. Now, mind you, it's because of this thing called catfish, and this is why I say I hate using the internet to date or find sex or anything of that nature. It's a waste of time. It's not just because of the catfish, but because of the stereotype of what most people, would consider people on certain levels. It's like, I don't think this individual would have had a problem if they saw me in a club in a bar. They wouldn't give a fuck about my age because obviously I'm in front of them and there's no way I could be something else different. Versus if I'm on the internet, unless they see me live and they see me move and they see, my body language and my chemistry, I have no credibility to market me and say he is who he is. I know that this is what I'm going to see.
So take them to tinychat.com. That way you can see them live.
No, I'd rather not deal with an individual who thought like that. Like, here's my point. If you see my profile, regardless of if that is my picture or not, if I'm if I'm actively admitting, hey, I'm 37, I'm proud of it, and I'm not going out my way, and you saying, oh, I don't deal with men your age, I was like to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna feel bad or even go back and forth with them. It's your loss anyway. I'm not even gonna tell you it's your loss. Listen, I just remember the situation, but I don't even remember what this individual looked like. I just remember that. Guess what? And here's the funny part. You know how I told you how most people think that I don't make enough exceptions to rule. Like I've settled for less from my standard what I actually go for, and this is the reason why I go hard for what I go for now, because I settled too much. I settled for and I settled for those type of people. I've given people like him, and he was one of those people. I was actually willing to settle for him for that night, and I normally don't go for his type, but for him to reject me, I was like.
I wouldn't give you the time of day ordinarily, right?
Yeah, thank you. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick to what I'm used to. I'd rather deal with that. Because at least in my realm, I know what I could command and what I can get. It's not there for me. So.
Well, briefly, just comment briefly. We were all guilty and foolish of that in terms of our events. We put a age limit on it. Foolish us. Not thinking that a person at age 40 can look good. Remember? We were all foolish in this. So I'm sure even today at those other locations, I won't say where, they still have they're following our lead. We trend. So they're still putting those super restrictions on age, which unfortunately me as a businessman helped create, and I regret it. That's one of the regrets.
At the place also that I will not name, that I went to last night. I only say because you know where I was at last night. Everybody there was like literally like, wow, like that standard. But then it was cool, but still to some degree, I still like to see diversity because you get different chemistry and different, things out of people who are tall, fat, slim, short, all different shapes and sizes. But then when everybody comes to the same thing, then you can actually see the difference between, like I said, everybody there had a nice body. Somebody who like, at least, let's just say if I seen 40 guys, 36 of them were like somebody who I would go to bed with. But guess what? Their chemistry, their vibes, their attitude would be the reason why it just wouldn't happen. And some people have chips and egos like the size of Kansas and Texas, like this, just endless imbalance. But yet they still expect to get a person, not just 5-star looks. I'm talking about 5-star quality. 5-star quality to me means you have basically a total package, including your flaws. And but basically the total package means that they have it's more, they have more good than they have bad going for themselves. Like that would be an ideal person you would try to get the time of day for, and the go-to person that everybody would like to go to.
Right. There's always somebody better than that anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's a 10. Here's a 10 plus. Well, what's the last one? Was that the last one?
I guess we could. What
was the last one? Let's just mention them.
Negative mindset.
That's the last one?
No, the last one is no morning routine.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up real quick, and to be continued next week,
yes.
Right?
Next Saturday.
Great show.
Thank you. And it's been an honor and a privilege, and I hope to see you guys again. Again, my loving family, SGL, same gender loving. See y'all soon.
DNAradio.net presents the BU Show with your host, Rockman, for the millions.
Don't run away yet.
What's that sound?
That's my alarm.
Oh.
That's why I said that's my cue.